Sandals and shorts, and surf, and scuba, and sand, and sailing, and soccer. San Diego, California.
And a mic.
Season's greetings and welcome to Two Balls and a Mic 285 weeks in a row here on San Diego's #1 soccer specific show in the city of San Diego. We're going to go ahead and talk about the soccer of San Diego this weekend with San Diego FC going over to the Windy City. 2-1 victory against Chicago Fire, bringing 3 points back. A Milan Iloski-less side for San Diego FC. How long will that continue? Have we seen the last of Milan Iloski in a San Diego FC shirt? What we know, the updates, and where we're at with that. Also, San Diego Wave did have a little bit of a an exhibition match. Abe was there. We'll see what that one's about. Those Gaffes and Greats. We're going to welcome also the great and powerful Cesar Hernandez, ESPN writer, our good pal and friend. He also has a good show with our pal Drew, Club Deportivo Movie Club. Catch those episodes here on SanDiego.Futbol. Season's greetings to everybody who's joining.
I usually call it a jam-packed show.
Jam-packed indeed. Lots to talk about.
Hi, Tony. Nice to hear your voice again. It's been a while.
Hi, Tony.
Hi, Tony. Nice to hear your voice again. It's been a while.
You're welcome, Landon. All right, so let's go ahead and get this thing started. Let's welcome in. I mean, we haven't seen him. You guys both abandoned me last week. We had important things to talk about. Last minute Padres ticket. All right, thank you for going and cursing the Padres. They lost that night that you went, so hope it was worth it.
I mean, yeah. Madre.
Wow, not making any friends here. All right, so let's go ahead and welcome because we're gonna get ahead started. There are just a couple of just housekeeping things where housekeeping.
Please collect all your trash.
Did you see? And let's bring our editor in chief here for SanDiego.Futbol. That is the website, and you can find it. I need to change that name because Tony Sanchez is not our name. Abe Cepeda. Abraham Cepeda.
What up, Abe?
Hi, Abe.
What's up, boys? How you guys doing? I'm feeling
really
great.
good. I'm feeling all right. Pumped up, Abe. There's a new stadium that's going to happen.
New stadium.
Discuss. 50,000 seater here in South Bay, Chula Vista. It's what's being promised, projected. The latest writings in the papers. That they're as phase 2 of this project to expand over on the Marina Waterfront Park. They're proposing a tennis court, a water polo, facility.
And they're just gonna remove J Street.
And then the second phase of that would be 50,000 seat stadium. In the Bayfront, a 50,000 seat soccer specific stadium. That's phase 2, 20 years at San Diego State's home of Snapdragon Stadium for San Diego FC. I mean, phase 2 of something, 20 years in, 20-year anniversary, new stadium. I don't know. It'd be very interesting.
I don't like that.
Why?
I live in Chula Vista.
Oh, you wouldn't want to have San Diego FC traffic.
Yeah. I don't
what do you think, Abe? Any thoughts on that really quick before, it's a newspaper stuff. So
I find stadium talk hard to believe until there is shovels in the ground and things of that nature. I've been told that there's going to be a university built in the city of Chula Vista for my whole life, and that still hasn't happened.
Honestly, that's what I'm waiting for. Yeah. I'm waiting for San Diego Southwestern University.
Yeah, they're saying Southwestern University. They're also saying UCSD South, San Diego State Southwest. I don't know. I think it would be cool if they built a stadium in Chula Vista, though.
Yeah, it'd be cool. It'd be interesting. I do know that in the second ever supporters gathering for SDFC before anything, like the one after we hosted at Carlsbad. Very early on. It was at Novo Brazil here in IB. I was having a conversation with Tom Penn. Hola, Señor Tomás. And, you know, I was kind of filling him in on what that land was. And I just kind of gave him the lore and the story of like, yeah, no, one Saturday they just decided to not tell anybody and explode that thing and wake everybody up. And but now it's crazy. It's land. And he was very keen on it. I know that the investor group that it's coming in is proposing a lot of things and, you know, just billionaire activities. And you know, there's hoops and ladders for a stadium to happen. But with that, there is stuff that is happening here right now, Abe. So with that, I think it's good to just get started with the segment that I think people kind of get that little taste of something. Goals, gaffes, and greats. We talk about the goals, the gaffes, the mistakes, the osos, and the greats of the week of SanDiego.Futbol. So with that, go. Goals, gaffes, and greats. We talk about it. Let's start with a goal. There was a couple of goals this weekend. What? You're on it, Chiva. All right. Look at that. Look at the little finger go. Goal of the week. There's actually two candidates for this.
Ooh, I know one. What's the other one?
Let's see how this let's see how this I guess how this feels. I guess last week we went, or 2 weeks ago when I wasn't abandoned. I was so excited to tell you guys about the fair, man.
How was the fair?
It's two players now that have lost their footing in key moments for Chicago Fire. We saw Gutierrez as well, losing his balance.
So SanDiego have a good play here.
Ball. Lozano bent his run. Lozano has Dreyer, squares it!
SanDiego FC's second goal honors Dreyer's brace. A fantastic build-up play, team play.
Great goal.
Great ball in by Bombino there.
Great goal, great play. Just
with a little bit of luck.
I mean,
bounce.
I mean, tell me
that bounce over what's his name? Is it Barbosa?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, great player, by the way. This is the first time I see kind of like a SanDiego FC game, and I think, wow, that guy on the other team is like really good. And I'm not knowing who the kid actually is, 19-year-old right back, like he's actually fucking good.
But what I like about this goal is that like it starts all the way from the back. This goal actually started at Cisniega's feet. Bombino with a great pass, a second great pass of the night. The first one was the assist over to Dreyer for first goal. Chucky Lozano lays it off behind, perfect for Dreyer just to come in and tap it in. Just an excellent team goal. I mean, if this is association football and we're judging it based on that criteria, that's a great goal of the week for me.
It is a great goal.
You agree, Abe?
I like the other candidate better.
So you like the other candidate better, which let's do a little bit of a mishmash. Season's greetings to everybody who's coming in. Yeah, textbook right to dream. Like that's again whenever they built the next team, a next expansion right to dream team, like these are the plays that they're going to show to explain to that city. Oh, this is what right to dream style is. You could see it here in the build up play from the back. The goalkeeper starts and all that jazz. This is a mishmash of great of the week. So let's go ahead and mix it up a little bit. Great of the week / second goal candidate goes to San Diego Waves. Second most important, just the part of the triumvirate in San Diego.
Second most important. Who's the most important?
Kenzadali.
I think Kenzadali's more important.
Out of the French Connection. Out of the French Connection, it's Kenzadali.
I'll tell you what. Last year, both Pro Moroni and Cascarino were on this Wave team. The only difference now, Kenzadali.
Yeah, she's incredible, but Delphine Cascarino is incredible herself.
Leads it.
That's not the goal. That's not the goal.
That's her assist, but
that is a great assist, Cascarino.
I mean, which is why she
Delphine.
falls for that grade of the week category.
Delphine.
2 goals and an assist.
It's actually my grandmother's name in Spanish, Delfina.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
So
What?
Maria Sanchez and Delfina Sanchez. That's crazy.
Delfina Cardona. It was on my mom's side. But here is Delphine Cascarino's goal.
Switch to the right. Cascarino's been effective in the second half.
Break the tie.
Quiet first half. Here she comes again. Cascarino fires it.
Filthy.
It bends it up.
Individual goal, like you love to see it, especially from a San Diego Wave player. One of the stars of San Diego Wave for this season.
I mean, she just takes it. Nobody wants to push up and press her. She takes that shot, hits over. Like, that's a difficult shot to hit the side netting from that angle, but to have it go up and then just dip boop, with effect. What a great goal.
She makes defenders look so dumb. I love it.
What a great goal.
Like, she's so talented. It's
I
great.
think my favorite part is the reaction after. Like, she looks angry that no one tried to defend her. Like, she's running to her sideline to go celebrate, but she just looks like angry and so ready to release it. It's so cool.
It is. I mean, grade of the week, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
easily
Easily
for me.
grade
Yeah,
of the week.
I think Pablo Cisniega had a pretty good game, but scoring 2 times and getting an assist to officially top your group in the Euros is really cool.
Yeah, I mean,
A clean sheet, and that puts Cisniega over this or no?
no.
I like that. I like that answer. Yeah.
No,
I would agree with
and
that.
that's all credit to Pablo Cisniega. He was able to do. Again, talked a little bit about it on the post-match show, how for me, Cisniega is my type of goalkeeper. Like, he's more my archetype. Like, he's more like a Osvaldo Sanchez type of goalkeeper.
I mean, he's the player that everyone assumed was going to start.
Yeah.
And I mean, let's finish out the segment, then we can start diving into
Yeah,
San Diego
let's
FC.
go ahead and do that. So the next one is going to actually be about San Diego FC, and it leads in perfectly to what here in a bit, because here's a story. Post-match, San Diego FC win a 2-1 against Chicago. A great bounce-back victory. San Diego FC head coach Mikey Varas was speaking very highly in the post-match show. Chiva, you were there. I was there, just kind of bouncing things out before. This is kind of what we do, a little bit behind baseball and a little bit behind the 2 miles on the mic. By the 70th minute, every game that we kind of look at, it's we ask each other, like, okay, what are you gonna ask? What are you gonna ask? Yeah, but I have the video. What are you gonna ask Mikey Varas? What are you gonna ask Jonas? What are you gonna ask? What's your question gonna be? And so with that, you said, in that, like, well, first out the gate, why wasn't Milan Iloski starting?
Yeah, I thought that was honestly probably the most important question of the night, because I texted you guys, like, that's the question. Why didn't he play? Like, it's not like they're resting legs. They're like, it doesn't fall under anything, or it wouldn't make sense. So I really wanted to know, hey, why didn't your best player start or play at all?
Is he the best player though? Is it not Anders
At the
Dreyer?
moment, at the moment, your goal scorer, he's been one of the best players.
With Anders Dreyer on the field and Milan Iloski not on the field, would San Diego FC be in first place? I don't think so. With Milan Iloski on the field and Anders Dreyer not on the field, does that kind of work the other way around? It's hard to tell, right? Because Chucky also wasn't there. This team is definitely a team, but the gaff isn't necessarily the fact that he wasn't on the starting lineup. It's the fact that these are questions that are being asked post-match. Obviously, we did ask about the game. We'll get into some of the audio here for San Diego FC. And so off the gate, right? I told you, like, you want to ask about Milan Iloski, Chiva? Like, ask. That's like question 5, dude. And you're like, okay, like, we went, sure, we'll go ahead.
I agree. Like, it shouldn't have been the first question.
Yeah.
That would have sent the tone.
Yeah, that would have set a weird tone, like, hey, bounce back win. What about Iloski, bro? But Mikey Varas gets asked by Chiva, hey, why not?
Yeah. Like, I mean, Iloski has been one of your better players. I'm just curious as to why he wasn't selected for the match tonight.
And this is what head coach Mikey Vadas for San Diego FC said to that question.
Gentlemen, we're joined by head coach Mikey Vadas. Mikey, are you here as well there?
Yeah.
This is the whole thing.
I don't think you sent me the other one.
You sent the clip in the chat.
I sent the clip in the chat, guys.
Come on, Chiva.
Come on.
I got it.
You got it?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much.
Here it comes.
Here it comes. This is what San Diego FC head coach Mikey Varas had to say when asked by Chiva about Milan Iloski.
His loan is expiring, and we haven't come to an agreement, although we've been working on that. And so I decided to prioritize the players that are 100% going to be here for the rest of the season.
There you have it, folks. What are your immediate thoughts on this? Obviously, we're going to dive into the game a little bit, but this is kind of like the big headline that a lot of San Diego fans kind of took away from this win. I think a lot of people didn't care about the win. They cared about that. Why didn't Iloski play? So I want to pick your guys' brains. Like, what are your thoughts on that? I did a poll on Instagram, and more people agreed with Mikey's decision than didn't.
I don't think he's wrong in his decision at all, actually. I don't think he's wrong because of the reasons that are to follow in this discussion for San Diego FC. Abe, you're chomping at, you're like, I see you, just like.
I think it's fascinating when these points reach. This happens a lot in sports, honestly, where you're having contract negotiations. There's things being said in the media back and forth, and this is really like the first shot that's been shot, really, of Mikey Vadas officially saying like, we haven't reached an agreement. We're not going to play him unless like we reach an agreement. I think this is all part of the negotiation, trying to like set the tone with Iloski's camp and trying to see like if he'll realize now that like this is pretty serious, because being public about this is a decision that I don't think Mikey comes to alone. I think this is something he's probably had a conversation with Tyler Heaps, and knowing that like, hey man, if this comes up, you need to let people know like we're not messing around. They're okay letting him go, which I think is a crazy decision. Milan Iloski has been unstoppable for San Diego FC, and he's a local San Diego kid. It's pretty easy to just, I don't know, give him what he wants, give him some money.
Wow. Okay.
However, how much is too much? Like,
is
how
there
much
too much?
Too much that he's at. There has to be a too much.
But I think this is part of that, where it's like, okay, maybe this is too much.
It is.
And we're trying to get him to bring the number down.
But when is his number going to be as high as it is right now? So if I'm his team, I'm going to squeeze the most that I can out of this and say, you know what? Maybe I just go back to FC Northland and try my hand at Europe. How about that? And you don't get Milan for the rest of the season. You send him back. He trains over there. He's already captured the eye and the attention of somebody. And it can't just be San Diego FC. Like, there has to be already contenders and people who want him just based on his.
The fascinating part of this to me is that FC Northland is technically a sister club to San Diego FC. Does this kind of animosity bleed over to that FC Northland team where they can say, hey man, your market value is so high, we don't really care. You didn't want to play for us over here. We're going to put you on the bench over here, and you're not going to get a full 90-minute game, and thus further lowering his value.
Let's
like this lowers his value by them saying, yeah, we don't want to play him.
Well,
even though he's on loan, the whole point of a loan is you kind of have to want to play them because you have a depleted roster. Like, Tommy Angel is not helping you win games compared to Milan Iloski.
Yeah, and let me tell you, it's rough seeing Tomas Angel get out there. Like, you have Dreyer literally just taking goals from him and like doing his position better than he can. And if you watch Tomas Angel play, he marks himself and runs behind the play or just behind Chucky and just kind of becomes their shadow and doesn't really have that mind of his own, where Milan Iloski does that pique, that diagonal run where it's like, okay, I need you to be there. That's where the striker should be. And Tomas Angel just hasn't necessarily figured that part out.
I think Iloski just plays with more confidence than Angel.
Oh yeah.
I am on the side of, I respect Mikey for the decision, because it's very easy for a new coach to say, I need to play my best players. Like, Mikey is really thinking about the future, and that's where I agree. Do I think SanDiego FC is a lot better with Iloski than Angel? Absolutely. But again, like they're thinking logically, they're thinking, why would we give minutes to a player that's not going to help us literally in 3 weeks or 2 weeks?
It's the pragmatic, it's the smart thing to do. If there's any chance, and right, and people who are saying, and everybody who is rightly saying, sign Iloski, keep Iloski, cannot lose Iloski, wouldn't those same people then agree that by having Iloski and making sure that he's comfortable and fitting the, like, it has to fit whichever way possible, right?
I thought Mikey Vadas was Mr. One game at a time, though. Isn't that we need to win every single game? Milan Iloski gives you the best opportunity to win each individual game. I think they're speaking out of both sides of their mouth here a little bit, where Mikey Vadas and Tyler Heap are saying we're only focused on this one game. We're not looking at the schedule ahead. We don't even care that we're playing 2 games in a week. We have a Wednesday match. Like, we're trying to win every single game. They're playing, and then at the same time, and they did still win, but at a certain point, like, Tomas Angel cannot be the starting striker for this team in the playoffs.
No, but you were winning with Valakari up there. You were winning. Like, it's not really who the 9 is. It's Anders Dreyer.
And here's
really the system. Like,
here's the big problem for Milan Iloski is that you don't really have leverage when SanDiego FC is proving it right. Like, there's a reality where the negotiations are happening. Milan Iloski is scoring, right? So maybe those shrugs are actually directed to something like, hey, like, what do you want me to do?
Yeah.
Like, what? I just can't help. Let's keep scoring. Like, what do you want me to do here?
He kissed the badge on his first game with the team.
I mean, signed the statue. I think Puma was saying that in the chat. Statue, $340 million right now.
It really comes down to that question, right? And I think, Tony, you may want to chat a little bit more about this, but is this an issue that SanDiego FC is facing with FC Northland about making a deal? Or is this more on, hey, Milan, like, we need to steal something. FC Northland gave the green light, and we need to get your approval on this. Like, let's work on a deal, and that's the issue there. So which one is it? I'm just kind of like, until we know that for sure, then we can start really kind of like figuring everything out.
Well, multiple sources have confirmed.
Multiple sources,
Oh, I love your sources.
That in fact it's not a issue between clubs. And I don't even want to categorize it as a state issue. You heard Mikey Varas, and in the tweet there was a slight omission. Unfortunately, just that it just happens. We didn't find the audio until very late at night for this. But let's listen to Mikey Varas once again.
His loan is expiring, and we haven't come to an agreement. Although we've been working on that, and so
they've been working on it. They've been working on it, guys. Like, does that make you feel any better? They've been working on a deal. Like, does that soften that sentence a little bit more?
They said they were working on it when we've asked him before about getting him signed to a longer contract or where that goes.
Vada said like he's not going anywhere.
Well, I asked him. Remember, that was my question.
I was like, hey,
Mikey,
2 weeks ago.
Are you planning and prepared to move forward with me? Is he in your plans? He's like, yeah, absolutely, yapperdoodle dooski. Yes, he is. And this turns out
this gives the vibe that maybe Iloski's asking for too much and Mikey's not happy about it, or Tyler Heaps are not happy about it. And now you punish the player for asking for too much money. In a way, if this was a company,
Mikey did the right thing.
And you ask for a raise, and I'm your boss, and I tell you, no, I'm not giving you a raise, and then I lay you off or I cut your hours, that's quote unquote retaliation.
Well, I mean, sure, but in the sports world, there's negotiations. Like, it's not a retaliatory thing. It's just
business.
Okay, it's business. And this individual just keeps excelling and doing literally greatest of all time numbers, like within that time
with
period.
The few hours that you're getting on that schedule.
But again, I think Mikey's doing the right thing here because realistically, he's preparing for a world with or without Milan. If you're those people that say keep it Milan here, keep him here, I'm pretty sure you're fine if it turns out he's not here and Mikey's been practicing without him, and then SanDiego FC gets those reps with Emma Boateng, gets those reps with Tomas Angel, makes him a little bit better. But then again, look at your depth. You're letting Brucev go. You're letting Milan Iloski potential go. You have 2 lone players. So whatever you said here, Mr. Varas, is not consistent because guess what?
The players that are 100% going to be here for the rest of the season.
Oh, so
his
Bombino
role
is not on loan.
expiring
Is he not on
and we
loan?
haven't come
Is
I think the Bombino's there at the end of the season.
oh well, sure.
Same
Is
as
Luca de la
Joga.
Torre also not on loan? Again, this is a short-term loan.
Yeah.
Like I get, but these are mixed signals. Are you just saying that you're not counting on him for the rest of the season? What is? There's layers to this. It's not an accident though.
How different is this conversation if San Diego FC loses against Chicago?
I think it's a lot.
Or even ties.
I think the tie is a little more allowable just because it's an away match. But if they lose this match and say they lose 2-0, 2-1, 3-1, how different is the conversation? Because now you're like, well, look, you didn't play Iloski and you fucking lost.
Yeah.
I think now it's a problem.
And you
but
stuck to
now
your guns.
because they won,
Yeah.
everyone's like, well, Mikey's a genius.
But
Genio.
what's the reason that he would put it on the bench, right? Like then your wheels start turning.
Yeah.
Why would he keep him on the bench to begin with? Is this a reason of like, hey, Milan, like you're doing too well. Tyler Heaps is asking me to nerf us in essence, and save us a couple of bucks. I'll tell you this right now. Money's to be spent for San Diego FC. If you haven't checked the latest Gam and Tams, filthy Scrooge McDuck levels of rich in terms of what San Diego FC is capable of here.
Also, Iloski's hot right now.
Hot.
Is he really going to keep that up the whole season? Players cool down. Players cool down.
That's
man.
what they said about San Diego FC.
No,
oh, they're
100%,
going to cool
100%.
down. They're first place in the division in the West. They're one couple points away from Supporters Shield first. And at the end of the day, if the season ends right now and they don't make playoffs,
is
it's still a
Iloski
great
really
season.
that guy? Would you be willing to spend most of your damn time, whatever you need to, on Milan Iloski? Yes or no?
No, because I know that he's
Yes.
not worth that. He's
Abe?
not worth that.
Abe, you said yes.
I say yes because at
But
this
I'm-
point in the season, when you have a team that's playing at this level and this system, adding a different player that could potentially not fit this system and not know how it works is just dangerous. And they could just be sitting on the bench and doing nothing, or they could be Andres Reyes and getting paid a lot of money to do nothing. I think when you have a guy that's performing at a high level, is a local person as well, knows the system, knows San Diego is a media darling, like to fans and everything, I think you kind of have to. And then you're playing Vancouver on Saturday. You know what he did against Vancouver on the road? He scored 4 goals. He scored 4 goals, and now we're at a point where it's like we're probably not gonna start it. Like that's crazy to me. Like it's just I don't think it sets a good precedent at all for San Diego FC and San Diego FC leadership and ownership to decide not to pay a player like this. It just puts them back into the San Diego sports hole of, hey, we're going to trade Adrian Gonzalez before you have to pay him. We're going to money pinch for Tony Gwynn. Tony Gwynn got paid under market value his whole career, and just letting these great players leave. I think that's what the point we're at right now. Obviously, it's early. But you never know. I don't think you can let an opportunity like this go away.
Can I say something real quick?
Yes, you can.
Look, it's also, this is how kind of like loans work in soccer as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
They could have easily said, hey, FC Northland, can we just extend that loan until the end of the season? We'll keep kind of paying what we're paying right now.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, cool. If Milan, you're cool with that? Because, I mean, that also needs to happen. The player also needs to say, hey, yeah, I'm cool with that, whatever. Milan's obviously not doing that. He wants to just get signed right now. But maybe SDFC has the plans of, well, if we keep you on loan, then we can also bring in another player still in the transfer window.
That still doesn't make sense.
And it's
for
just,
San Diego. Like, it's just, yes.
What do they need in the transfer window, though?
A DP, a third DP.
I don't even know if it's a third DP, but a couple other like rotation
you
players.
Still need
like
to
a
do
center
that
back,
anyways.
Center
You need to do that,
but
anyways.
you can't if you pay Iloski everything.
You're not gonna have to pay him everything because he's.
But it sounds like he wants everything.
He wants everything, but he's not gonna get everything. Like I know a deal's gonna be made. San Diego FC and Milan Iloski will continue this adventure for the rest of this year.
Like, look, you're on the bench today, and we still won. Do you think that's gonna work?
I think this is a ploy of like the name on the front is more important than the name on the back.
Yeah,
right?
I agree with that.
And if this is a hey, you've been doing great, but you're not doing great under the guides of Right to Dream. the precedents, the pillars of the play style of how we need you to go ahead and do things. If you're this maverick, if you're literally Tom Cruise in Top Gun 1 and Top Gun Maverick, and you're just going your own path, the road less taken, and you're going to trailblaze through on, that's what strikers are. They're those people who are going to shut you up, and they're going to demand things and put up the numbers, put up the performances. Milan Iloski is doing that. He doesn't make sense. He makes dollars if you keep him here. But there is a world where he doesn't stay. Does he really want to go back to FC Northland in Denmark? Does he really want to do that?
No. Who wants to go back to Denmark?
He sped run the San Diego sports legend story in a couple of months. Like, who's going to forget the name Milan if he leaves and you never hear from him again in San Diego? Who's going to forget the magical weeks that Milan Iloski, number 32, gave the city of San Diego to give him a chance to position them in 1 point away from the supporters' shield in the halfway point before the All-Star game? Milan Iloski, the local kid who went on to, play in Ajax, who played in Feyenoord, who went over and did well in Sevilla. I don't know, like. Because that's true.
I mean, shit. People in San Diego still remember Ben Spencer, and they're still on that. So
shout out,
of
Ben
course
Spencer.
Of course they're gonna remember.
All right, let's see. SDFC is a business. They need to add depth in the midfield and center backs. I agree. That's more important than spending most of your money on one player. They probably offered him as much as they could. Let's remember, Tyler Heaps is a very smart, intelligent GM. He has a pedigree of Monaco. He has a team that is he has a squad and team that deals with the European side of business, and I'll tell you this right now is very different from a USL championship beyond sort of business acumen that's needed. Like, you need to be on your shit if you're dealing in these businesses. So hopefully it works out for Milan Iloski. We'll continue talking about this. You guys can continue talking about it.
It's fascinating though. This is the first time that SanDiego.FC has gotten into this position of having to have public negotiations.
Yeah.
It's interesting, and I'm really curious to see where this goes, because this week we're going to be at training, and I think that might be another question that we can ask, especially this Vancouver game on Wednesday.
Exactly. Again, Dimitri, by the way,
Toronto on Wednesday. Sorry.
Toronto. Yes. Close Canadians. Yeah. Dimitri, by the way, SDFC Nation on Instagram. You can find his website as well. Joins us
great
on
articles and previews.
Great stuff on there. Check him out. We're going to go ahead and have him here soon on the pod and just kind of get his takes on everything. Just, the San Diego soccer journalism community is growing, and it's really cool to see it
real quick. Jeff had a comment earlier. Are we making a mountain out of a molehill with this situation? Is this whole contract negotiation thing as big a deal? Because the team was playing without him, and they were winning, and they were still at a high level in the standings without Milan Iloski.
They weren't first.
Is Marcus Ingvartsen going to be coming back soon? Is Alex Whiting going to be playing in the 9? Is Valacari going to be playing in the 9 again? Like,
should there be a question? When asked this, I was expecting, again, going back to the way that Chiva was going to ask about Milan Iloski. I'm like, honestly, what are you, in my mind, malamente, wrongly, that's wrongly is not a word. I thought that he was just going to get like, oh yeah, like, we were going to use him if we needed to, trying to get him some rest. We do have a midweek game, and
that's what I thought.
Being prepared for what's coming up next, and thankful for the 3 points today. Good job, Tommy Angel and everybody else. On to the next game. You'll see Milan Iloski, very positive, all sorts of vibes. Instead, you get.
And so I decided to prioritize the players that are 100% going to be here for the rest of the season.
So it may be
Iloski like 80% chance of being here, or
if I'm Iloski, how am I feeling hearing that? Like, I don't know if that puts me at any ease if I start packing up to start going over and getting some jackets to be shipped back to Denmark. What if FC Northland, as Dimitri was saying, what if FC Northland was like, hey, you know what? I mean, we may need this guy because we're going to play against Copenhagen. We're going to play against these European squads that, we need some firepower too. All right, let him learn. Come on back. And again, I don't think it's not between clubs right now. It's between player and San Diego FC. So very interesting what the negotiations will be like. It's so great. But to answer one of you asked, like, if Milan Iloski was not on this team, they wouldn't be on first. For sure.
They would not be first.
They've been needing those goals that he's been providing, and not just goals for the tallies and the victory, but just morally. Like, he's been carrying the team morally, and there's a spirit about San Diego FC that's like, all right, like, I like to fight. Like, the name of San Diego is being put up by a San Diegan. Like, what a story. You're putting Milan Iloski on the podcast. You're on the official podcast, and then on the official radio show, which, by the way, check out our we were featured on the midweek radio show with Adrian Garcia Marquez and Darren Smith. That was pretty cool.
That was pretty fun.
Got called a hobby horse by a pal of mine. Like, hey, you're just everywhere. Everybody gets a turn. But that's old Shakespeare. He said that in Hamlet. He called somebody a hobby horse. Anyway, but let's go ahead and just switch a little bit. Not completely, but there was a game for San Diego FC besides this Milan Iloski situation. So let's go ahead and just go with some San Diego FC. San Diego FC. All right, so like we said, there is a game that happened. This game that happened was a pretty good one, by all intents and purposes.
I mean, it was okay. It wasn't their most like fun game to watch, but it was a good one. Like, they did win, and that's what made it a good one.
I love that our streams just garner random player accounts. We have Olivier Giroud that follows UPSL side SD Inter very closely. Now we welcome Dennis Boanga. Dennis. We're in America, son. We're in America, son. By the way, also honorary greats, all the supporter groups taking a stand for their opinions. Gaff, also the lifetime ban that the Galaxy put on somebody who had a credential. Like, they put a banner, don't do that. Also, like, at see why they got their credential revoked and banned from the stadium, but they banned them for lifetime.
Wow,
pretty harsh. All right, MLS with San Diego FC. The lineup that was presented over in the Windy City in Soldier Field. I've seen soccer games in Soldier Field, but it usually involves La Selección Mexicana.
It wasn't at Soldier Field. No, I thought it was at SeatGeek Stadium.
Was that Soldier Field? I believe.
It was Soldier Field. Dang.
Yeah, the big Soldier Field.
Yeah, damn.
There we go.
I was watching it that is Soldier Field. Damn. I was watching it while I was at Torero Stadium. So very, very different stadium.
Yes, very different. Imagine SDFC playing at Torero Stadium once. That'd be cool. If there ever was an Open Cup matchup, and whatever. All right, so San Diego FC's starting lineup for this match. Again, we can get to Iloski, who is on the bench. But with that said, Pablo Cisniega making his debut. He's played with San Diego FC with America against America in the friendly. He makes his MLS debut here. Actual real points at stake, and it was going to be interesting to see how he's going to go ahead and do back there.
Yeah, I mean, he starts over Dos Santos, who may have gotten a broken nose or fractured nose in the last game. So Pablo Cisniega stepping up again. But have we confirmed, or anyone asked how long DJ's out?
I haven't been able to make that.
He was only listed as questionable in the game upcoming for Chicago, so I'd assume he's still probably questionable. At this point in the midweek, I would probably leave in Cisniega. He had a really great performance. It's hard to take that spot away from him. Well, especially if it's a 50-50 chance with injury with CJ. I think I'd probably just leave Pablo in there.
And in front of him, Luca Bombino, you have the great Patty McNair returning. Still not completely match fit for a full 90. Chris McVeigh, and on the right, Verhoeven. As you know, it's a very young right and left back side, but they brought it this matchup.
I think the best possible backline SanDiego.FC could put right now. I like Verhoeven over Kumado.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, he's very, very injured, Willy Kumalo. Still, the return of Luca de la Torre to the starting lineup on the left-hand side that slides over Oni Valakari to the right side, giving Godoy a little bit of a rest. Valakari being able to slide into the center mid position once again. Sverskov in the center defensive mid, just the Sverskov, the Yepe position at this point. Like, you can do anything, Sverskov. Like, just figure yourself out. He plugs himself well. I don't even want to designate him a position. He just appears. Say his name and he appears. I believe in Yepe.
I believe in Yepe.
All right. And up top, over on the left, Lozano. Flanking on the right is Anders Dreyer. And in the middle, Tomas Angel. We've discussed, obviously, how we feel or just our thoughts on Tomas Angel starting. But again, there was some cautious optimism. I'm like, okay, he has been playing better. He for sure has been playing better. He scored a couple goals leading up to here. But it was going to be a tough matchup. Berhalter versus Mikey Varas, just similar in their schools of thought and play style and execution and philosophies of the game. So it was going to be really good. The game starts and Pablo Cisniega kind of does calm himself up
Pablo Cisniega
with a great stop there. Pablo Cisniega.
Can I just also throw out, like, it's a mistake, but this shot could have been a lot better too.
Sure.
Like,
sure.
A lot of space.
Sure.
A lot of space.
He has no right to stop that.
No. It's a great
He has
save.
no right to stop that.
It's a great save. I think the commentary mentioned
Save of the week.
that. Yeah. I think the commentary mentions that it was his mistake to start, but I don't think so. I mean, that's been the style. I think it was a bad pass from McVeigh that Valakari couldn't control. But yeah, no, this is a crazy save.
Like, if I was in person, I would have asked him, like, hey, what was your favorite save today? And I know it would have been that. I hope that the SDFC team got that shot.
Are SanDiego.FC fans used to these type of mistakes already? Because this is the right to dream mistakes that you're going to make.
Yeah.
Because with that play style. Like, at this point, if you're a SanDiego.FC fan or follow SanDiego.FC, you should be getting used to these mistakes. Because it happens more than once. But when it works, it looks beautiful.
Yeah. No, 100%.
When it works, it looks great.
SanDiego.FC just kind of kept in, and it was a good back and forth. That's how it was going to be for the matchup. A lot of work rates defensively and then offense. Great play, shielding the ball. Luca de la Torre, even better low-driven cross, finds Dreyer and just takes it away from Tomas Angel. Camera guy thinks Angel scored. Angel thinks he scored. And then McVeigh comes and lets everybody know, no, it's actually you, Honors. Honors scored. It's like, oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Okay, good job. That's the 1-0 for SanDiego.FC. Shout out to Frontera San Diego making it out there.
All right, I'm just texting our upcoming guest back real quick.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, Anders Dreyer is still performing at an MVP level. I think we've said everything there is to say about Anders Dreyer. I think he's I would say the most important signing that SanDiego.FC made coming to the season. He's just been phenomenal.
The most important signing that the MLS has made, because again, let's remember every team is owned by the MLS. The chairman and owners are just co-owners. But it's one of the most important signings for MLS. Period. I agree with you there. But this play is just excellent.
It's the patience that Luca de la Torre has, right, to make this play to give to Bombino, and Bombino's just stepping up big time for San Diego. But again, how many times have we mentioned in the absence of Luca de la Torre that we're like, man, that midfield needs that so badly. Look where he's at right now.
He's just going,
it's like
shielding.
He's playing FIFA.
He has no options. He can go ahead and lay it off right there for Yepe. He knows that there's a run. He already clocked that there's a run coming over to his right. So right now he's looking up. There should be somebody on his left for sure.
But there's none. There's
nobody on his left. He's looking. He's going to buy time. He can't go to Yepe because to him, there's two people blocking him. And then he has no outlet anyway. So let me go run into the space. There's nobody here. Oh, there's somebody right there. I'm going to cut this way. Not completely, but just enough to do that little shoulder movement to allow Bombino to make the run. Cut right there. The pass is already happening there. Bombino sees it. De primera, first touch on the top part of the ball, because that's what makes the ball go and stay on the ground. If you hit it at the bottom, it'll go up. In between everybody, almost behind Dreyer, and he just scoops it in for the easy goal.
Why was this one not called offside?
It shouldn't. It wasn't.
That didn't look offside to me.
It did not look offside. What are you talking about?
He's on the back post.
Yeah, no. Here's another look.
Yeah.
Here's another look. A good turn by Luka. There's no space there. There's no space there. Let me go ahead and go and shield the ball right there. You think I'm going to go with my left? Nope. Here's my right.
It's the pass is behind him.
Yeah.
That's where I was a little confused. Like, look, right there, he's off. Right there, he's off. You were telling me he's not off right there?
I'm not telling you anything, my friend. I'm not saying anything. If you want to argue, you should have asked Mikey that. Hey, Mikey,
Maybe a little bit. I see what you're saying now, Chiva.
100%. I could see that.
I really thought they were going to call
very
it back.
convenient.
VAR checked this, by the way.
They did check this.
And I think what ended up happening is that there wasn't, kind of like NFL, there wasn't enough
conclusive
evidence or to change the ruling on the play, and that's why it was determined a goal. I thought they were going to call it back, to be honest. I could have easily seen the other side saying, like, yeah, that's offsides.
Luka, there was a long-awaited midfield reinforcement. I agree, but you still need people. Like, you still need somebody. Losing Alvarado is going to prove to be very, very...
And you loan away Bruce.
Okay. You're making space in the midfield, huh? Wouldn't that be interesting if a good, solid midfielder came in?
Kevin De Bruyne?
What?
No, he's not coming to San Diego FC. I don't think so. It's crazy that those rumors were happening and like they were kind of believable.
And they were being entertained. I get it.
That's not happening though.
It's not for sure not happening.
If they don't want to spend the money on Milan Iloski, I don't think they'll spend the money on a player like that.
Imagine just like that they're like announce Milan Iloski not signing him back. Oh, boo! And then you're just waiting. The admin on San Diego SC is just waiting to tweet like, oh, but I bet you'll like this. Send, Kevin De Bruyne blah, blah, blah. Gets number 32. Sooner or later, like it just kind of does start catching up for San Diego FC, and a part of being a San Diego FC fan, if you're a watcher that way, is that you're gonna have to suffer things like this. Another mistake coming out the back through the right hand side, like this is that right to dream. You put them and put that high pressure. This ball almost goes up and over. It does go up and over. Almost goes up and in. But off of a throw-in, you can't have these moments like in your final third, defensive third. You can't just give the ball up away like that. Very fortunate again, San Diego FC to get away with it. And Chicago was again pressing, being attacking. They were in a lot of ways doing the San Diego FC bit and waiting for San Diego FC to do the mistake and counterattack. And it was a good back and forth here. The fantastic build-up play, the right to dream goal.
Isn't that something, right? I think when we saw their first game ever back at Coachella and they struggled a lot and the counterattack was kind of like their weakness, that really hasn't been a weakness so far this season. I think the weakness has been making those mistakes playing out the back. But they're actually probably the best counterattacking team in MLS. Like they're that good, and these counterattacks are working based on that style, and it's just impressive to watch. Like we said earlier, when it works, it's really pretty to watch.
Yeah, it's pretty.
It's very pretty.
It's very pretty. Abe. All right. You turn into the highlight.
Second half comes around. San Diego FC's up 2-0, but it kind of starts feeling like Chicago's just not gonna be completely out of this game. They do say that in Spanish, like 2-0 es el resultado más engañoso, right? So 2-0 is the most kind of like fear scored.
Yeah, I mean Chucky Lozano doing his thing here, and that's the thing. He's such an X factor where he'll make something out of nothing.
Yeah.
You don't have to really worry about any sort of play style build up because you know that they'll resolve him and Dreyer. This is another play. Dreyer almost just he was feeling himself. Definitely feeling himself here, and almost getting the chip goal. That would have been something for the hat trick. A great stop by Pablo Cisniega, reaction save in the corner kick here. What I love about this save is that you'll see the angle where he's pretty much positioned perfectly, but he's filling up the space where somebody should have been defending with his eyesight. And I don't know if you ever play Madden. I've hardly ever played Madden, but the quarterback has that little cone of vision. And you can see the cone of vision filling up the space where the ball is going to get headed at right here. Again, if you're listening on Spotify, we do this on YouTube with visuals. Just check it out, break down the game film a little bit more, some X's and O's. But right now, Pablo Cisniega is looking at an empty space. Just if you get that cone of vision, you can see it right exactly where the ball is going to land. He knows it. He reads it. He sees it. So as great of a stop this is, it goes right to him, but it takes a lot of skill and some fortune for that header, secondary header not to go in. But a good performance by Pablo Cisniega. And at this point, you thought, okay, he's keeping the clean sheet. 87th minute, Chicago just is trying. It only took just centimeters to get past Cisniega this night, or else he would have had a clean sheet. Off a corner, unmarked, but poor marking. They were being held. It's fine. Like, it's a corner kick. Like, it's a good contact. De volea, technically. First time. Berhalter gets excited. He got very nervous and anxious towards the end. But so did SanDiego FC, Mike Varas. Interesting tidbit here as we head into the end of this matchup for SanDiego FC. Even though they did weather the storm, Negri came in for Luca Bombino, who was absolutely exhausted, gassed, and is something that I'm actually legitimately worried about for SanDiego FC. It's just like these players are getting redlined. These players are getting they're getting worked, and so you're starting to see some wear and tear, especially for some of the players who maybe aren't as conditioned to play as much, but fortunately for SanDiego FC, it's been working out.
I think I wouldn't be too worried about Bombino because this was probably one of the first matches that he really had to run a lot, especially against Barbosa, a very fast player on that same side. So I think it was just extra workload that Bombino had to take on this game, and that happens in soccer. But I agree to an extent where if this continues to happen, what other options do you have?
You don't have many options. Abe, what are your thoughts on this? SanDiego
Jesper Loffelson, right? That's here.
Jesper Loffelson, he can play in the midfield too.
Yeah. There you go.
He could probably play left back too, I think.
Yeah. He's a good versatile player. Good versatile player.
Yeah, what were you gonna ask me though? Just thoughts on this game. I think it's
on this Milan Iloski this game.
I think they would able to weather the storm. You're up 2-0. Obviously, you're a little frightened, but being able to defend well is something SanDiego FC is able, has proven that they can do. I think, obviously, no lead in the MLS is safe. I think that was proven in that Vancouver game, which was just kind of nuts. Obviously, the headline's going to be 4 goals by Milan Iloski, but you never know what could happen. And then that felt like that might happen here. I think Chicago isn't a horrible team. Berhalter is a pretty good club coach. I think you could see that they could be a better team if they had a few more players. But yeah, SanDiego FC is just a really well built team right now, and I do think that worry of yours is okay though about depth and just players being a little bit tired because you've been laying the gas on these guys. I think Luca de la Torre is someone who I have my eye on as he played a lot of minutes for the U.S. men's national team, and then immediately coming back and starting in this game is interesting. You're gonna have some, I don't know,
some what?
Some just I don't know, some of that. Just some. Are you sure you want to put them out there again? They're pretty tired,
A good matchup here. Some words between Mikey Varas and Greg Berhalter at the end you saw there, and just congratulating each other with the experience that each other have, just kindred spirits in managing and coaching, and I mean, yeah, it's a great performance for SanDiego FC. Mikey Varas very intentional about giving props and kudos to Emma Boateng as well. who came in and did the job. He had a great interference here in the last couple of minutes. Then Mikey Vara said, yeah, I count that as a goal. So, very, very positive on his end. And again, reinforcing that team aspect, reinforcing that right to dream. Like, hey, I like my players when they do what I ask them to. I don't like my players when they don't do what I ask them to. So, I love having this victory. Let's move on and have a good rest of the season with or without Milan Iloski. Essentially, was the tail end of that.
It's drama in San Diego.
Abe?
I think I want to hear what our guest has to say about that.
I agree. So again, soft pivot. Again, this is the show. It's for us, very selfishly, where we get to talk with absolute legends. These are our boys' nights.
100%. Like our collective girls. What was it the other day that we had a text in sync? Oh, SD Internacional, because they were going to penalties.
Going to extra time.
We both were sharing texts with our girls, like, because they were like, "Hey, what time are you going to be home? It's a Sunday.
It's 8 already. Where you at?"
Yeah, I'm like, they're going to extra time. Damn, they're going to penalties. Damn, they're taking forever in penalties. They lost.
No. My backup, if we take extra long, it's like, I'm sorry, Tony's still talking to someone. How many times have you not blamed me?
Yeah.
That definitely has happened though before, so it's not like it's a complete lie.
All right, let's go.
All the time.
Let's go ahead and soft gear shift. We'll still keep it here in the SanDiego FC sphere thing. Keep the comments coming. Your thoughts on Milan Iloski, your thoughts on still being first place in the West for MLS and expansion team. They break the record for most points earned through 20 games. So that's with 42. That's now the new record for them.
Ranked second in the MLS Power Rankings.
Make it Philippi. Cool. All right. All right, let's welcome a fantastic, a great, a pal, a contributor, a local person, a former SanDiego.Futbol great of the week. By the way,
I think he's probably new great of the week in our history to join us on the show.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, joke on it. With that said, let's welcome in at Cesar Hernandez. You can catch him on ESPN as a writer. Like you're pretty nifty, Cesar Hernandez. How are you, man?
You're famous.
Hey guys, I think now going forward, you name me a local person. I'm just going to delete my bio on Twitter. I don't even use it, but just on Blue Sky, like I just say a local person. Not even specify where I'm from. But guys, doing well. I mean, obviously, it's always super chill chatting with you guys, chatting anything and everything, soccer, anything, everything, football. And we'll see how it goes for SanDiego. I like that you guys brought up that the record for points through 20 games. Let's see if they reach LAFC. I think it was like 57 points. I was looking up the other day. It was like 57 points. And Nashville, who had I forgot how many wins Nashville got in their inaugural season. But yeah, obviously, clearly a lot of excitement out here in San Diego. What's happening? Also, keep an eye. Don't want to jump ahead a little too much, but you guys mentioned the Iloski situation. Obviously, we'll see if that gets resolved. But hey, Luca De La Torre is also on loan through the rest of the year. So I mean, we'll see what happens with that as well. Obviously, there's a lot of it's tough running an MLS team. Let's just say that.
So how close to the sun do you fly with these and in your coverage of San Diego? I know you had a great article just kind of delineating the right to dream, the building of SanDiego FC, and you were very close in that through your work. So even now, how close do you fly to it? Is it something that comes through your desk and it's like, hey, oh, okay, that's it, or are you actively digging, or just take me kind of through the life of Cesar Hernandez and San Diego soccer?
Dude, it's really, I don't know. Obviously, a lot of my day-to-day stuff is just news. It's just I'll find something interesting to bring to the news desk regarding Mexican soccer, American soccer, but at least once. I'll say once a month, maybe 2 times a month, I get the opportunity. Sometimes it's more pushed by my editors. Sometimes it's more pushed by me to write a bigger, fascinating kind of feature. And for me with SDFC, well, at that, with that situation, I just kept thinking, it's like, okay, like, this is a piece that I wrote earlier this season. I was like, well, what can we say about this team? And for me, it was just like, well, obviously the most fascinating thing is what they have to do with Right to Dream. But what that means for San Diego soccer going forward, like, obviously I'm a national writer, so I guess you could say binational, because I guess you could say binational. Why not? Why not? There we go. But we'll see what's next for what I challenge in and what I tackle with San Diego. I mean, there's a very obvious situation with them looking pretty strong, and we're already talking about like a record number of points and whatnot. So obviously that's an easy one. Maybe it'll involve a player or two from this outside of the box idea that I have that hopefully I'll be able to share within maybe this month, maybe next month, which is a little bit of a strange MLS piece, but a really interesting one. So hopefully that I'll share it with you guys later on in the text or something. I won't say it out loud just yet, but it's an interesting one. But that's kind of how long story short, that's kind of how I approach things. And yeah, we'll see what the next big idea is.
Okay, I'm curious just on your Iloski take.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, man.
I mean, this happens all the time in soccer, and I do also wonder if this is the kind of situation in which, it's still not the end of July yet. You guys know better than I do, but the loan, if I'm understanding this correctly, the loan doesn't end until the end of July. Correct?
Yes, correct.
Like literally, like the last day of July,
midnight,
August 1st. Boom, bye.
Yeah, so that there's still time to deal with that, and maybe next thing you know, I'm not going to pretend as if I'm knowing what's going behind the scenes right now, because I've been focusing a lot on the Gold Cup, and that's kind of been like what's been where my brain's been at for 24/7. And I've been kind of like, I took the last week off, so I genuinely don't know what's happening behind the scenes at the moment with this. But maybe this kind of thing where you hear something immediately, maybe this is something you hear something within next week, and we think, okay, that's fine, no worries, not that big of a deal. That's kind of where I'm leaning towards, just because it doesn't seem like this is kind of like an atypical situation for a lot of soccer teams. This happens all the time, and maybe, I don't know, you look at the MLS salary numbers and you say, okay, Iloski isn't exactly making Chucky Lozano money. I'm not saying he should be making Chucky Lozano money, but maybe there's a kind of a situation in which, that's part of the negotiation, right? Is thinking, hey, look at what I'm doing goal scoring wise. Maybe there's something here going forward in the future. I don't know. Like I said, I don't have any special insight into what's happening in the background, but I also do wonder if this is something that's going to be resolved within the next couple weeks. It's not going to be a big deal, but who knows?
Yeah, I mean, it's the first time San Diego FC is faced with this, as Abe was saying earlier. Is like they're going to have a first, public spatting in a sense of negotiations, right? Like did spill out into just the talking of further of just like X's and O's, right? Like, again, I was expecting Mikey Vadas just to say, yeah, no, I just rested him and we'll see him on Wednesday. Next question. And instead he chose to say, be very intentional about like, well, there's still negotiations happening, so I'm going to go ahead and play who I know is going to be here for the rest of the season for sure. So is that a message to him? Is that a message to the rest of the locker rooms? Is that a message just saying, like, again, no players bigger than the system itself? You're interchangeable? Like, is this a calmate, like just pouring some cold water on the hottest player in MLS? But or just a reminder of like, hey, by the way, you're not an all-star. that's Chucky.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, all-star game coming up. Anybody clocking on that? Or is that on the national beat? Cesar, are you working on that, Abe, for us?
There's like a 30% chance that I'll be, maybe 25% chance that I'll be out there bothering Yepe, Chucky, and Dreyer, but no, we'll see. But yeah, no, but I see what you're saying right there, and maybe I feel like a lot of times in our line of work, with the limited amount of quotes that we get regarding situations like this, we really, dissect every single individual word that a coach will say. And maybe this was maybe it could have been worded differently, and we're really, really overanalyzing a little too much, but who knows? Well, but I'm really, really, but either way, I'm really, really curious to see how this plays out, because obviously, like you guys said, it's a really interesting situation in which this is a local guy, right? This isn't someone who's from out of state or a different part of the country or from abroad. Like clearly there's a special connection he has here with the city, with the fan base. I mean, when he kissed the badge as well, which is obviously a big deal. And so I can understand the fan base feeling a little frustrated by them not knowing whether he's going to be playing, not only just in the playoffs, but like literally next month, right? So I can understand that there's a little worry about that, but I think the one thing that we can all say for sure is that he is still currently a player and that there is still a possibility of him continuing with the team regardless of what's been said recently.
Cesar Hernandez, ESPN writer, also excellent Detroit Tiger player. Shout out to you. It's funny. Like I do like just to tag somebody or just show like a work or look something up. I do always type Cesar Hernandez, ESPN, and it's never you. I'm so sorry.
There's a guy. I think I've told you guys this. Have I already told you the story that the Cesar Hernandez who got me in trouble in high school? There's a guy who was born at the same exact day as me in California, and he was driving without I think it was like drunk driving or something like that, and he didn't show up to court, and somehow they revoked my license. And then I went to Guadalajara once, and then like Interpol we're like, oh yeah, we're looking for Cesar Hernandez like with your name. There's like some escaped convict. Is that the same guy? I don't know. Or am I or maybe this is what the evil Cesar Hernandez is actually saying right now. You never know. But anywho, yes. Sometimes I'll get DMs from people like, it was like more so on Twitter, like complaining like back in the day about like some baseball stuff I did. I was like that's, I'm not that guy. That's the wrong dude.
What would the evil version of Cesar Hernandez be doing? Just writing columns about how bad cats are and how cool dogs are?
Yeah. I think he just looks exactly like me, but just has like a fuller mustache and is like more muscular, which I guess wouldn't take a lot of work. But
just like those fake glasses, the bushy eyebrows.
And that guy also, that guy believes that Jim is actually great. From the
Office. Let's not forget.
There you go. Yeah, there you
go. Jim from The Office hater, and it's unfortunate for you not to experience joy in your life like everybody else, but it's okay. It's okay. People may not be experiencing joy here soon in SanDiego.FC verse if Milan Iloski doesn't sign. Be interesting to see what he does want to do. I see the comment like, "Oh, knows what Milan's plans are." I can tell you his plans are not necessarily to leave San Diego. He doesn't want to leave. Like he wants to actively. They're working on a deal for Milan Iloski to stay. That's what's getting worked on right now. What that number is, where they're going to find themselves, is very tricky because it's such a weird circumstance to find themselves in. Right? When do you have a sibling club have ownership and let you borrow this, awesome car, but then it's only for a little bit? You got to give the keys back at some point, or you can keep it. But now it's going to be more expensive. But you're like, well, I already kind of used it for this much. Lower the price, give a hometown discount. Either way, it's. I don't think it's good for San Diego FC's image, at least, to have the question at least so close to him being here or not here. As far as like the not being sure, like if he's going to be here.
I think what's also really interesting too is that like we got to keep in mind too that just San Diego, they're going to be involved in Leagues Cup soon, right? I mean, we made you mentioned there about the All-Star game, and you're gonna have some players over there, but like things could get a little busy going forward, and you start looking through the depth chart, you start looking through these different options, and remember, I mean, we all know like this is MLS, right? These rosters aren't nearly as deep due to the roster regulations and mechanisms and whatnot. This isn't like a Liga MX side, right? There's some Liga MX teams where look at a Tigres or a Rayados, and you're like, all those bench options are DPs. That's that's just the freedom that you have within a Mexican soccer system. That's just not how it works in MLS, right? So if this is a situation in which he doesn't stick with the team, and obviously we've seen his current role as well, where he's been able to score through just limited minutes. Like, what happens against a Pachuca or Tigres or Mazatlan? What happens if you struggle against those teams? That leads into your MLS form too, and then you start asking yourself more questions. I don't know. It's really interesting to see how it plays out too, because I know a lot of fans, talk about Leagues Cup. I know a lot of fans sometimes think maybe they don't think so highly of that tournament, but if you do well at Leagues Cup, that's a possibility to qualify for the CONCACAF Champions Cup. If you do well at the CONCACAF Champions Cup, you could possibly go into the Club World Cup. I think that there are a lot of SD soccer fans who would love to see San Diego be represented through those tournaments. Obviously, that's thinking way down far the line, but if we're looking at those initial steps, it's Leagues Cup, and you're thinking about the depth of the current squad right now.
How the Club World Cup this last Saturday, obviously, Chelsea, world champions once again. You're welcome. It's the pageantry is bigger. It just feels bigger. There's been Club World Cups before, but for it's the warm up, the dress rehearsal for the World Cup in a sense, and the magnitude did feel a little more. There was more import in this tournament. There was more heft to the games, I believe. I don't know about you guys, maybe because it was close and it wasn't in Japan at 4 a.m. But Leagues Cup, where does that kind of fall in terms of Liga MX, in terms of MLS? Like, is it taken as seriously? I mean, I remember just seeing images of the Mexican teams stranded at the airports, and most of the games are played, if not all the games are played here in the U.S. Like, there's these logistical things that keep it from being just a elite level tournament, and really something that the Mexican sides want to come and play. I did notice also that it's when the Mexican team started getting, quote, screwed over by the refereeing, that the intensity kind of went up. And again, it started meaning a little bit more. Can you kind of sift us through where is Leagues Cup in all this?
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious. I'll give my answer really quickly, and I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say, because I think it's still, let's just say it's still in the early stages when it comes to credibility. I think what helps a lot for those teams is the fact that there are CONCACAF Champions Cup spots on the line. So really quickly, for those who don't know, the top 3 teams from the Leagues Cup will qualify for the next year's CONCACAF Champions Cup. I think most fans from either side of the border, I think they're kind of about it. They kind of feel meh about it. They kind of feel a little, I don't know, like they're not 100% bought into it just yet. That is until it gets to the later stages. But what do you guys think? Just because I'm curious to see what you guys think about that.
I think if you're SanDiego FC, you should be taking the tournament very seriously, right? Because not only is it a chance for more games at home at Snapdragon, if you end up kind of qualifying, you get playoffs that could potentially be played at Snapdragon as well. So I think if you're SanDiego FC, you want to take this seriously, and you also want to make the first game a big deal. It's Chucky Lozano against Pachuca.
Yep.
Like, you have to make that a big deal, bigger than probably any other MLS match you've had so far. At least when it comes in terms to like your all-star, your marquee signing player, probably one of the most emotional games that he's gonna play in a while, maybe since that Germany game.
I mean, look at it, right? Like it's the story of Chucky Lozano. You can't separate from Pachuca in a lot of ways. Likewise, like, he's the prototype of what the academy of Pachuca can produce, right? Like, he's literally the best case scenario, and now he's kind of reciprocating. He had El Ojitos Mesa, his coach at the time, that gave him the chance against America at his presentation for SDFC. Like, this is the storyline that are really cool to think of, right? I remember in Chucky Mania, or what was the other guy? Lunay Mania at the Shell. The first guy in line was wearing a Pachuca jersey, the orange and black Pachuca jersey, and he's there for Chucky. Like already you start to see familiar faces, and I think for the Latino community, like, it kind of legitimizes the MLS product a little bit, especially if the MLS teams do well and they play well. Like, right now, if SanDiego FC played against Liga MX teams, I think they'd fare pretty well.
I mean, didn't they just kick America's butt?
All right. Okay.
Those were children.
Bro, 300 on the jerseys.
Against SDFC's
C is very.
B+.
I was
C for child.
I was looking up that roster. I was like, who are I've don't know who most of these guys are.
Wait,
That's
el primo de Carlos Vela, güey, was there. ¿Cómo se llama? Cristo Vela?
I don't know. But I mean, to be fair, SanDiego.FC was also playing with majority bench players.
Are you looking forward to it, Abe? Like where do you sit on this?
I think it should be exciting, but it also depends on how they perform in the group stage. Like if they lose this first game, then I think you're at a point where it's like, hey man, you're first place in the Western Conference. You kind of have to take that a little bit more seriously, in my opinion, just because that's the MLS is very important to them at this point, especially as an expansion team. I think people will remember a run in the playoffs more than a potential like semifinals run in the Leagues Cup. So that's what I think they should prioritize if they don't perform at a really high level against these Liga MX teams. But it's gonna be fascinating though, just because they do try to win every single game. Like even some of these like weekday matches where you think maybe SanDiego.FC will take their foot off the gas a little bit. Like they're gonna be trying as hard as they can. Maybe not putting all the best players on the field because there's certain agreements and stuff, but they'll be trying to win every game.
I think that's a good point too, and especially since, I mean, imagine you have a hard time against Pachuca, and then you're up against Tigres next.
Yeah.
Right. What and especially because, I mean, I don't know. I haven't done the math myself, but like, if there's 18 MLS teams and only the top 4 qualify for the knockout stage, is it a possibility to win 3 games and not make it into the top 4? Probably unlikely, but let's just say that there's a possibility that you could go undefeated in those 3 games, exert a huge amount of energy, and then maybe you don't qualify. I don't know. It's quite confusing. Like I think it's they change the rules year by year on Leagues Cup. I, as someone who loves Mexican soccer and American soccer and loves like football on both sides of the border, I think it's really interesting. But like even I have a difficult time keeping track of what they're doing.
There was so much soccer this summer too. Like Gold Cup and then Club World Cup all at the same time, along with MLS and tail end of NWSL. It was a lot this summer. Right? Were you watching? Were you just like injecting it all into your veins, Cesar? Or were you?
Just
mainlining it.
Yeah, I know. Right? I will say that it was mostly like just because of like work, like mostly just Gold Cup. With SDFC, there's a lot of catching up. I mean, I caught the recent game. That's like that's for sure. But there was like a lot of other matches where I'm just like checking out the scores and then texting you guys and be like 17 minutes of injury time. What's happening here? But like outside of Gold Cup, I also like I watched like a little bit of like the Club World Cup, but and then caught a little bit of Liga MX. It's funny because in my brain I was like, I just focus on the Gold Cup, and yet I'm still kind of keeping tabs on SDFC, still keeping tabs on some Club World Cup and on the recent Liga MX weekend. So I guess a lot of soccer like usual.
What was your biggest takeaway from the Gold Cup? Whether it be a Mexico thing or a USA thing, I'm curious because I definitely had one. But
do we want it to be? Because I have a few. I think I have a couple different answers here. Do we want it to be specific from the U.S. team that's in relation to San Diego soccer? Because I could talk about a little bit of what that means for Luca de la Torre. If we want to go on the Mexico side, we could even talk about Gilbert Mora.
That for me, I think that's what I was interested in, just because like he is such a dynamic player, and I think a lot of people kind of are at the point where it's like sell him to Europe. He's obviously can't be sold yet, just because he's still a child, but. I was so surprised at how well he performed for the national team.
Yeah, we could talk about it really quick because I think that's also something to highlight. If we're talking about San Diego soccer and the Tijuana soccer, let's talk about the fact that one of the best young players in the world, is playing in Tijuana right now.
Turf.
This is on turf, yeah. Right. And it's like it's incredible. Imagine. Let's pretend that this was an SDFC player, right? Imagine someone told you, okay, there's this kid, was even a professional player a year ago, right? Then he became the youngest ever scorer in Liga MX, I think it was by his like third game with Xolos. Debuted debuted at the professional level, like just months after playing with like I forget what academy side, like over with Xolos, and then by 16 years of age, he's a starter for Mexico's senior national team in a knockout round match. That's absolutely incredible. And if you aren't a fan of Mexican soccer or a fan of Liga MX or aren't a fan of Xolos, like please like just watch the kid. And I say kid because sometimes we talk about kid about someone who's 22, 23.
No, look at this. This is
16 years old. Yeah.
A child.
Yeah. I had a friend who was she was working behind the scenes in like game day operations and was working alongside Gilbert Mora. And she was like, she's like, for a second I thought he was one of the mascotas, like the kids that you take like on the field just because of how small he is.
It's an incredible story too. Just again, like this is what soccer presents, like these opportunities for talent and just the raw skill to really persevere. And it's a specification of talent, right? The specialization of it and where sports are just in general, right? Like a 15-year-old that's playing like this or 16-year-olds playing like this is a phenom now, let alone like 10 years ago. Like it's just incredible just to have that type of talent here. And I'm just anxious for him to not get played by Vasco Aguirre in the Mundial.
And it's believable, right? Because it's honestly so amazing to watch because you see it not just, with Il Mora, but you see it worldwide. Lamine Yamal is probably one of the best players in the world too. And he's 1 year older
just turned
than him.
18.
Like 2 years older than him. Like it's insane how talented these kids are becoming. And I'm really happy that Mexico has one of those like prodigy kids.
Just one. Just one.
At least one.
There used to be a whole team and they won a World Cup, but it's fine.
One of them, I don't think any of the players ended up being like that big. Like, Carlos Fierro won a championship with Chivas, but
I'm curious, you guys probably have more insight than I do. Actually, I guarantee you guys have more insight than I do. Has anybody from SDFC reached out to Xolos about Mora? Because according to FIFA regulations, like he should be able to be eligible. Oh no, okay.
It's been floated out there. Like that reality has been floated out there. I don't think Xolos are gonna just entertain that whatsoever and would do everything to throw him anywhere else outside of San Diego.
To be fair, we were told that it was like SDFC did reach out and very early on, and Xolos said nope. Yeah, right.
Matanga dijo la changa.
Yep. Finally he was reached out and it was an immediate no way,
right,
not happening. So
I guess the obvious thing is Xolos are just like, listen, this kid is not only important to the team, but as soon as if we could possibly sell him to like his value, let's just say his value is only going to increase significantly, and there are probably some European teams who are probably going to be offering some pretty good money there. But I was curious to hear if you guys have heard anything about that regarding Mora, because you would think that would be option number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 when it comes to the Tijuana talent. Yeah.
This comment right from Tijuana's out. He'll be sold to America in January.
Yeah, there's also
So how disappointing would that be, right? If that ends up happening, where instead of going to Europe, he goes to America, Monterrey, or Tigres, and then like Marcelo Flores was kind of like a prodigy that was up in the May, and then he went to Tigres, and you're kind of like, is this kid even really that good? How disappointing would it be to you, at least, if that does happen?
Yeah, if that does happen, that'd be a win for SanDiego.FC, right? Because then you can have some of these Tijuana players be like, hey, you know what? Like, there's a possibility you could be part of the Right to Dream system. There's a focus on like your potential and whatnot, like moving abroad, or you could be with Xolos and maybe you go to America and you become a bench option, and Alejandro Zendejas is getting minutes over you instead. I don't know, but yeah, no, it would be, personally as a fan of the Mexican national, I would be pretty bummed out by that. We could just put it like that. But I really do hope that he continues to be a key figure in Liga MX and does make the eventual leap to Europe. But I think Abe asked me earlier about like my lessons from the Gold Cup on the U.S. side, and I think we can go back to Luca de la Torre, just a consistent starter for the U.S. men's national team. Did he really impress me? Was I wowed by him with the U.S. men's national team? Like, I would say that he kind of did what he had to do and maintain that starting role and had like a decent group stage and maybe didn't really significantly increase his stock. But I will say that he's clearly going to continue to be in the picture with the U.S. men's national team. I'm not going to say he's a guarantee for the World Cup next year, but I think that what we can say is that San Diego has helped him stay in the running, stay in the picture. I asked him during the group stage, the Gold Cup, if he thought that staying with San Diego beyond the loan, so that loan that ends at the end of the regular season, if he thinks it'll help him claim a spot for the World Cup. So he told me basically at this moment, decision is too far away. He says just focus on the day-to-day, blah, blah, blah. But he did highlight at the end when I was chatting with him, he was saying that, like, yeah, San Diego has been great to him and that he loves playing there. So I think that's a good, promising sign for that player. Obviously, things can change at the end of the season. Who knows if he'll stick around or not? Maybe he'll turn into a Milan Iloski situation. You never know. But I think at the very least, that was another thing that I was really curious about from a San Diego perspective about what that would mean for Luca de la Torre. And yes, he's probably going to be missing, therefore, during certain moments in September and October for some of their upcoming games for the U.S. men's national team. I don't think that actually will make him miss any MLS games, but it will make things pretty difficult, when it comes to the amount of minutes that he's going to be getting in September, October, and flights and whatnot. But I think at the very least, for San Diego, you can say that it's a win that, hey, this guy has been a very consistent starter for the MLS team, and he might continue to stick around if he continues to do well, and if it means he continues to be relevant to the U.S. men's national team.
And if San Diego FC just becomes this team that not only revolutionizes the way that players are developed, young players are developed through the academy, but also just like this safe harbor of players who want to come back and really just restart their career. Like Luca de la Torre enjoys playing here. He's a local. But again, it's a really good place to play high-level football, play with some really good players. Again, Anders Dreyer is playing in Anderlecht, which is a pretty decent level over in the Belgian league. Like he's clearly head and shoulders above a lot of the competition he's faced so far in MLS. But as far as like Luca de la Torre goes, like that's the player who came in and said, you know what, I want to go ahead and have a chance to play more. Celta Vigo wasn't using him. Let's go ahead and do and get minutes under me and do like a rehab in a sense here locally.
And
I
he
think
gets called
that's
up while he's on it.
And if San Diego FC is that safe haven that does that, like it produces really good players, but it's also like that rehab for players to come in and reach another level and regain a level even. Like San Diego FC is going to be in a really good spot for years on out.
Yeah, and I think there's also something to be said specifically towards the next World Cup where you could say, well, for travel, it'll be easier. He'll just, for friendlies and whatnot, he doesn't have to go too far. It's not like traveling back from Europe, but also just being like accustomed to the conditions of like what you might be seeing in the World Cup. Obviously, they said that, they might try to have more of the games like indoors for next summer's tournament. But I mean, there was a player, Aaron Ramsey, he recently joined Pumas. And like, according to some of my colleagues over in ESPN Mexico, they were saying that like, hey, like he kind of just wants to acclimate to like the North American soccer scene and like kind of get minutes like week in and week out ahead of the next World Cup. So I think that there's something to be said ahead of this World Cup that we hosted in North America for some of these players to be like, hey, you know what? Maybe I'll just stick around. Maybe I'll just stick around over here in North America. Yeah,
that wouldn't be a bad play. Everybody's allowed in the World Cup again. 48 teams coming in this year, largest World Cup in history. I think that's good and smart to get acclimated to not only the weather, the travel, just everything that comes with a World Cup in the United States. And I mean, I think that's also kind of a good little transition too with Luca de la Torre and the U.S. men's national team, part of the summer of soccer in the United States. And this just, I always say oversaturation of soccer too. I think, there's a little bit too much of the good stuff, right? You can't always just have dessert. But Club World Cup happened. Do you have a take on just kind of how that was rolled out, the dress rehearsal for the FIFA World Cup next year? What ended up taking the place of the Confederations Cup once upon a time? Year before the World Cup, you'd have the Confederations Cup. Now Club World Cup, I guess. How did you enjoy it? Did you like it?
Well, all right. Well, really quickly, but speaking of too much dessert, I had a really quick shout out. I think you guys will appreciate this as a quick press box story. I know fans probably don't care about this, but in Energizer Park Energizer Park in St. Louis, there's an ice cream machine like that you can access next to the press box. It's absolutely. It was. I had too much ice cream. But that being said. That being said, yeah, it does feel like in the same manner that I was questioning my is it 2 or 3 small bowls of ice cream that I had in the same manner that I was questioning that, you do wonder if it's too much of a good thing, right? All the soccer we have now, even someone like me, like I one of my editors was like giving me a hard time because I was like. Because I'll be like, oh yeah, sometimes I'll just have like a USL Championship game in the background, because that's just I just always like to have like some sort of like soccer on, right? Whether it be Liga MX, MLS, NWSL, whatever European game, and it's sometimes a USL Championship game. Why not? Let's see, just because I'm curious to see what's happening in that league every now and then. But it, for me, yes, it is enjoyable to have too much of a good thing in that manner, but then you start to think about the players. Then you start to think about like the miles that these players are like literally not only running, but traveling. You do look at other sports and realize that they do genuinely have longer breaks, right? There are proper off seasons. I mean, it's kind of funny, like even just explaining, to my wife Kimberly, we were watching the Club World Cup final, and we talk about like Chelsea, they didn't have like a sponsor, and I was like, oh, well, like that's something that they're working on. I was like, technically it's off season. I'm like, technically it's the off season, but they're taking part in the final of this soccer tournament.
Of this very
for millions of dollars.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
For world domination, by the way.
And you've already heard players. You've already heard players complaining in the past, right? This isn't something where we're waiting for players to be like, ooh, like, should they be playing like this amount of minutes? Should we be doing a little bit of that? Like, I think I was wondering if the Club World Cup was going to be kind of a breaking point. It wasn't, but I don't think that it's going to go away the issue of the amount of minutes, the amount of matches. We've seen, let's talk about like locally here in San Diego. I know it's someone who wasn't playing professionally in San Diego, but it's someone who is very connected to the local soccer scene. But I mean, Landon Donovan, I mean, he's talked pretty openly about like how difficult it was for him to be playing week in and week out, and the mental toll that really took on him. And I know we like to then with the immediate argument that a lot of people will say is just like, oh, well, these guys, they're millionaires, they can afford to do this. Like, I've always been a little bothered by that, because if we're looking at the entire structure of it all, we should be pointing at players, because they're the employees in this situation in comparison to the very, very rich billionaires at the very, very top who aren't taking in all those miles. So yeah, listen, like I said, I'll watch almost any and every soccer game, especially if it's a tournament it's happening in our backyard. But I do worry, and I do not blame players for complaining.
I mean, locally, again, we texted about it, like 17 minutes. Last game for SanDiego.FC, 7 minutes. That's a total of 24 minutes of added time that these players have played in their league, right? Mm-hmm. Then, like someone like Anders Dreyer, who's playing all these games, is going to go and have a good game over for the Danish national team. He's been, scoring. He's been producing. It's a big ask, and yeah, the player safety aspect is one where, I mean, again, even Pulisic and that whole controversy of him not playing for the Gold Cup. Luca La Torre, actually, one of the post-match press conferences, responded to a question of that. It's like, yeah, no, I support, like, if players telling you, like, I need a break, I'm not going to be able to be the best health-wise. It's just best for me to sit this one out. it seemed like a little bit of a cloak and dagger with Pochettino when they were kind of saying and requiring for hey, if you play this, then you can't play this. Either way, like it's the new age of soccer, right? Like I'm still trying to wrap my head around water breaks as an old school like soccer head. Like guys, like just throw a bolsita, a little bag as you're running, like make it happen, or like but that's just again for player safety. Same thing for these added times and just I get the point. I understand it. But it's you know it's interesting just the wear and tear that these athletes do have to do, and sometimes it's for nothing, and that's what Seattle's players were kind of arguing with their shirts that they got yelled at by their owner.
And these are also like, you know, I already mentioned earlier that there's issues with roster depth in MLS, right? It's not like these teams are super deep, right? Like that makes things even more difficult. And I know, just to bring this back to San Diego, but just there are, I'm sure, some fans who are just like, wait, why isn't SDFC in the Open Cup? And it's like, well, let's start looking back to what happened. Well, MLS added Leagues Cup, and then with Leagues Cup, there was then a little bit of difficulties with MLS teams. They're like, okay, how do you do Leagues Cup, Open Cup, MLS? And let's say you're involved in the Campeones Cup as well, and you're involved in friendlies as well. So it's just, and that led to therefore MLS restructuring things, and therefore having some teams taking part in Open Cup, sub teams taking part in Leagues Cup sometimes, and then there are others who are qualified playing CONCACAF Champions Cup. It's a lot of soccer, right? Yeah, it's a significant amount. And then I think when San Diegans are like, hey, like why isn't SDFC an Open Cup? It's like, well,
they don't have the team for it. Like they really don't have the team for it, and they don't have the backing of a MLS next team or like that's if it's just specifically with San Diego FC, right? Like that's another added layer to this. Like even though they are involved in Leagues Cup this time around, they're barely putting a team that's 100% healthy. Like they're running out of players as of now to be able to field out there. Yes, reinforcements are coming, but are you really going to be able to maintain that chemistry that you've been, like there's just so many questions, at least locally for this. But it's a good problem to have. Just like these discussions in real time for staff soccer in San Diego.
Yeah. I don't envy the people. I don't like, credit to Tyler Heaps and everyone out there, because I do not envy having to dive into the GAM and the TAM. And not only that, but then imagine trying to sign like a big player from abroad, and you're like, actually, so we're gonna have to use this one mechanism, and like it's kind of, we're gonna have to do this kind of contract situation. And then some player from abroad's like, what do you mean? Like all these like restrictions and rules? I do not.
Something that frustrates me about these conversations that we have about MLS is like these are self-imposed restrictions.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, and I know it's like something that has been said. It's kept the league healthy, and it's still a very young league. But it's just so insane because it's just like they're the ones. It's like, oh, we can't do it because of these rules. It's like, you made the rules, man. Like, just you can change the rule. They did change the rules for David Beckham, and that's how like designated players became a thing. And I think MLS is starting to reach a point where they might have to make like major changes to these salary rules, because I think it could become a really big issue with this depth thing.
100%, especially since like I understand when the league was in its infancy, and like the first few years, it's like, okay, maybe you have all these restriction rules, so therefore if you mess up a lot, you're not going to be too many steps behind some very, very clever decision makers at the very, very top who are willing to spend more money. But I think now at this point, it's like, when you have someone like a Tyler Heaps in charge, like, trust them, right? I think in the end, for me, what I'm thinking is that like the owners of MLS teams have to trust their sporting directors now, who are clearly much more, let's say, just smarter, experienced, more. I think you could say that they're at a higher level than what the league was 10, 15 years ago, right? So I think that like you hope to see more freedom when it comes to roster making, when it comes to roster decisions. So that way, it's not the same when you're like, well, there's only 3 DPs, or should have used the U22 roster rule, and then they can sign a couple of those young guys. It in the end, I will say it leads to really, really exciting soccer, and you guys see it week in and week out, where it's just that like anybody can beat anybody, right? In MLS, I know that SDFC have so far surpassed a number of teams, but it wouldn't surprise you if I don't want to be mean to one team, so let's say team at the bottom.
Galaxy's come back. Like they looked horrible, and now they're like actually starting to perform and kind of win games. It's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, but yeah, you do hope to see more openness when it comes to that, because can you imagine, with the money that's behind SDFC, like kind of superstars that you could be signing, and it's not just a Chucky, and it's not just a Dreyer, it's I don't know, it's really curious to think about.
And you mentioned it right there, right? Like the GM game. What are your thoughts on the Maverick, the young, just hotshot, youngest GM in MLS history, Mr. Tyler Heaps?
As soon as he, oh god, sorry,
through and says to you know what, Lindsay Heaps, here you go, like make the jerseys, change the jersey. Kudos to him, I guess. Congratulations.
As soon as he signed Oscar Verhoeven, I was like, all right, this guy might play football, just as much Football Manager as I do. Like, no, but like clearly there's like, it's clearly someone who's pretty like intelligent, who's in charge of what's happening behind the scenes. I think you have to give them a significant amount of credit, because like I said, it is not easy to navigate the roster rules and mechanisms, regulations of Major League Soccer. So I think that you have to give him a huge amount of credit for building this team, because you know what, like, even though I was just talking about how great it would be if they did make things more open and loose, and it'd be easier to sign big names and superstars, what that then does, I guess you could say, allow, or maybe just highlight, are those who are making the smart decisions without bending too many rules, or let's say not having to rely on a top-down approach from, let's say, a Inter Miami or Lionel Messi, like what they're doing over there. So I think you have to give them a huge amount of credit. It's really impressive to see what they've done so far, and like, listen, like playing that, and I know maybe that's more so maybe in this sense is more thinking about Right to Dream as opposed to Tyler Heaps, but like playing in the manner that SDFC are playing, and like I said, I assume they're still playing this way. Like I said, I've only caught highlights over the last few weeks, and I only caught the last game. But like playing in the way that they're playing, where they're building out, it's risky, and I think that's maybe why you've seen and maybe I'm wrong in this, they've allowed, I think I took note, it was like 12 goals in the last like 6 games. Like that might be happening when you're playing this way. That might be happening because MLS rules putting all the money in the attacking players, and in the back line, you're taking a little bit more risks there. So playing in that manner, it's adventurous, it's brave, and I think a lot of us were really cautious about how it would like end up working out, but you can't help but just like take your hat off to them. They've been doing an excellent job.
It's really fun just to be able to see it week in, week out, and be the ones that are pressing these questions. Again, I'm just breaking my head sometimes. Like, I just want Mikey to not say the system is, we're gonna stick to our principles and we're gonna keep this. Like, no, Mikey, I know you are, but like, how? Like how differently? Ask now. Like, do tell, please.
I don't know. I think Mikey Vadas is actually a very open book. Like, he's very transparent with everything, and I really do appreciate that. I mean, again, when I asked about Iloski, like he could have easily said, "Oh, we're just rotating. It's up."
Yeah, like, simple rotation.
Fair. Yeah.
I mean, Jonas Idoval didn't want to talk about Maria Sanchez when I think the whole world knew that she was going to go back to Tigres.
No
so
comment.
it's interesting. What do you think about the Maria Sanchez situation, Cesar? I think that's kind of interesting.
Yeah,
that's like, I mean, that's a really tough one. I mean, because like if we're talking about, I mean, it's difficult for maybe I feel for Maria in that situation, just because I felt like from what I was seeing, I felt like she was performing at a pretty decent level when she was coming off the bench, and I would probably be questioning why I wasn't the starter, and why I was being becoming more of a rotational player. And then you think about maybe I don't think there's anything wrong with bringing the finances into this, but like, and I don't know the exact financial numbers with Tigres, even though I was reporting on this, but just, obviously she was making a decent amount of money in the NWSL. And I think that maybe with Tigres, I'm thinking very, very, very likely Tigres are like, hey, you'll be making also very good money over here, but you'll continue to be a superstar and you'll have guaranteed starting role in what is not just, and I know some people were thinking, it's like, oh, is it a step back because it's Liga MX Femenil? Maybe, possibly, but when you're playing with a Tigres, I genuinely think that a Tigres can compete with, I genuinely think that Tigres can compete with the likes of many top NWSL teams. And that's how I feel. And I think that maybe in that sense, it isn't a step back. Maybe it's a lateral move, we could say, more than anything else. But what do you guys think about that? I think I saw Chiva make a face there.
I think at one point, like, I brought kind of like that up at a post match for the U.S. women's national team, and I was kind of like told, well, no, that isn't the same level as this, like, at all.
No way.
Like, there's no way. And it was,
if you're playing for Tigres, if you're playing for Tigres, you're playing for Rayadas, and then we could add in to an extent, but like a Club America, we can throw in a Pachuca, a Chivas. Like, they played a very good level. Like, they do play at a very, very good level, and we've seen that in recent years. I'm not gonna say that if you're to toss in those teams NWSL, that boom, they're winning the championship at NWSL. I would say that all 5 of those teams are competitive. I think it's more difficult once you then start to go further and further down. You go into like the Tolucas, you go into the Xolos, like they're still pretty good. And then you start making your way further down and you're like, oh, you know what? The investment isn't being made, sadly. I mean, if we want to just throw it out there, like the investment from the ownership of these the male teams aren't making it the same level at the very bottom of Liga MX Femenil as they do at the very top. But I think for Maria Sanchez, like, makes sense. Tigres, if anybody hasn't watched Liga MX Femenil, watch Tigres Femenil. Fantastic team, excellent superstars on that squad, excellent fan base too. Like, if like, I want to say that some of the fans, if you think that the San Diego fan base is incredible here, for women's soccer, like catch a big game between Rayadas and Tigres. Catch a playoff game for Tigres Femenil, like over there in Monterrey, like they love their women's team. So Maria Sanchez will genuinely be a superstar, will be making very good money, and she'll be getting guaranteed minutes. And guess what? Like, I would say that would make the argument that, like, there's a certain neighborhood in Monterrey too, which is like known as like one of the nicest. It's like arguably like the nicest neighborhood in all of Latin America. Like, she'll be living comfort. She'll be quite happy out there. I do not blame her at all for doing that.
Like, it goes full moment, right, for a lot of these players. Like, sometimes they start out in Liga MX Femenil and then go to Europe and then now end up in the biggest contract in NWSL history, like me official. So I mean, it's insane how competitive it can be, but it could also be a stepping stone. And I can definitely see how some people may see that as like, you're kind of stepping back, right? But I mean, dude, like, do you have any thoughts on that contract that me official got? And I mean, how big is it, right? Like, you have a player from San Diego that played in Tigres and Chelsea and now
world champ. Sorry,
NWSL. So I mean, it's insane.
I think with Mia, my perspective with Mia official is that I hope to see her have I know she was coming off an injury, so it was tough. Did she score on her Chelsea debut? She might have, or her second, and she had like a wonderful start. Things didn't really pan out over there. We've all seen how excellent of a player she is. I really hope that she is able to be just as impactful, and maybe that's a little bit difficult, like in comparison to like Tigres over to with Seattle, but just I really hope that she's just as impactful in the NWSL as she was in Liga MX Femenil and returns to the national team conversation, because we've seen her prove it not just at the club level, but at the international, but we saw her. If I remember correctly, I don't know why I should know this. She did score when she played at Snapdragon, right? Or
Yeah.
she had a yeah, that's right. Like, because I remember writing about that game and thinking about like, okay, like players like her aren't just the future of the U.S. Women's National Team. It feels like they could be the current stars of the U.S. Women's National Team. So I really do hope it pans out, and especially since, like I've said, things didn't go out the way we expected in Chelsea. There was an injury issue, but yeah, I think she has all the tools available to her to become a star in the NWSL and to once again start making an impact at the U.S. Women's National Team. But I'm curious what you guys have to say about that, though.
I think the fight for the forward position with the U.S. Women's National Team is going to be fascinating over the next couple of years. I mean, you have Sophia Smith and Mallory Swanson, both they're pregnant right now, and then Trinity Rodman has been dealing with her back injury, and then you have Alyssa Thompson kind of knocking on the door and really like pushing for one of those spots, and then obviously Mia Fishel coming off of this ACL. I think going to Seattle specifically with Laura Harvey is going to be very beneficial for her. Another English coach, and I mean, like Laura Harvey just completely owns the NWSL. I was like, during their last meeting, I was like just looking at some of her stats, and she has like so many like wins and different records as an NWSL coach, and I think she really understands the league and is going to be able to put Mia Fishel in a strong position. And then like Seattle also, they have like some good strikers too. I think Jordan Heidema is really, really good, and I've seen like you've seen spurts of like being really good, so that's just gonna be like exciting to see her pair up top with there. And I genuinely think they're gonna be a problem for the NWSL. Like they already like dominate San Diego Wave. Like Laura Harvey knows exactly what she's doing,
and it's just what Emma Hayes probably recommended, right? Like, hey, she was the one that plucked her out of Tigres Femenil, signed her to Chelsea. And she gets the U.S. Women's National Team gig. Hey, I need you to get some minutes. It's not going to happen in Chelsea. Come on back to the NWSL. A little bit more control, a little bit different. She hasn't played in the NWSL. She's played in Liga MX Femenil. She's played over in the women's the
Super League.
Super League.
Pac-12.
The Pac, yes, the mighty Pac-12. Excuse me. And now she gets to go ahead and have her take on the NWSL. So this is definitely intentional, deliberate for the longer cause. And I think just the fact that once again, the fate of soccer internationally through San Diego, through Mexico, comes through this region is just incredible. And I don't know, like what's in the water, Cesar? Like, what is it about it? Like, is it?
How come I didn't drink it?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, when you now, kind of when you're saying like what's in the water, it's like, well, it's even interesting when you guys were talking about it earlier about them wanting to build a stadium out here, and they're like, oh yeah, 50,000 capacity. Yeah. Maybe it'll be MLS. Maybe it'll be. I saw the UT. I mean, I guess the developers can say whatever they want. It's like maybe a Mexican Football Federation team. It's like, what? A Liga MX team out here? It's like, is that legal? How do you? Is that legal? But
Cholos are still going to keep building that stadium.
I mean, there's Canadian teams in MLS. Why not?
It's like watching like a young Pokemon and being like, bro, have you seen Pikachu's third evolution? It's Pikachu like ×5, and it's like this like red and like just or like and like. Bro, Super Saiyan 7 is insane. This Liga MX team in San Diego, bro.
No, but like but I think that like, all right, I think like it is, to me it seems silly. I mean, like, all right, an MLS team, 50,000 capacity would be the largest soccer specific stadium like in the United States. Obviously not North America, because Mexico you have different venues, so like it wouldn't be the biggest in Liga MX if somehow they had a Liga MX team out here. But like the fact that there's some builders even saying that, and I know probably there are a lot of builders who say stuff that it's quite ambitious and never ends up happening. And of course, the state, it's long down the line. It probably won't even happen. Who knows? I don't have any insight when it comes to that. I'm just spouting what I read off the UT, but that says a lot about the excitement out here when it comes to soccer, right? I mean, I wrote about it, like even from like the early days of MLS, like it wasn't as if the whole San Diego stuff like started over the last few years. It's like MLS has been interested in San Diego for quite some time. You think about the size of the city, you think about the binational connection with Tijuana. You think about the fact that, obviously it's a soccer hotbed when it comes to talent as well. Youth, like up and coming talent. So like it doesn't shock me at all whatsoever. And the funny thing is, I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say about this, because let's imagine in this weird scenario. All right, they do end up building the stadium. It's looking likely, and an MLS team actually does show up, and there's a second MLS team here. Oh. Do you think that the city could actually? Because here's the thing: LA, it has the Galaxy, LAFC. You have in the New York area, you have the Red Bulls, you have NYCFC. Do you think San Diego could support 2 MLS teams?
I mean, they couldn't support a USO and an MLS team at the same time.
There just wasn't the space though. And it could,
well, technically, would it be a San Diego? It's a Chula Vista team.
I love the USL, but it wouldn't. No. 2 MLS teams, because we know how fans feel when you suddenly throw USL in there, and then that's a different conversation altogether.
I think the fan base would really stay within just Chula Vista. Like, why? Would you call it San Diego something, or would you just? I mean, Galaxy calls
bro LA, South Bay FC.
Maybe we could. Okay, so maybe the better way of phrasing this question: can San Diego County support 2 MLS teams?
Be specific, bro.
I don't think so. I don't think so. Like they're trying to get a foothold and really carve one out right now, and as good as they're doing, and again, it goes over to the sustainability aspect of this first project, right? We're discovering how much professional soccer San Diego has, right? And for right now, they're fielding a team that has so many holes. And again, that's just based on the model specifically to how they do things and their business model with academies and stuff. But just to have 2 separate fan bases, I don't think that's possible. Again, the report did mention like a USL championship team, but again, that's just a developer looking at like, well, what are the leagues called here in for soccer?
They're just throwing names out there.
It just means nothing, right? There's not a USL team that's going to fill 50,000. I mean, again, San Diego Loyal couldn't fill against Borussia Dortmund Snapdragon Stadium. And like that's there you go.
Yeah.
That should have been their biggest match, and they should have filled at least a lower bowl. Still a great game. But I don't.
Hey, what do you think? I don't know.
You're here.
I think what's more likely, honestly, is they build like a women's specific stadium. Honestly, a la Kansas City, just something that's probably a bit smaller, because like 40,000. Obviously, it's like that's their high watermark that they're trying to hit, or like because the San Diego couldn't even support the Chargers. Like, there's too much wrong, I think, in city politics that. For a whole stadium to be built, especially with that kind of money. So, like, obviously, I think San Diego wanted the Chargers to stay, and I think that there was a lot of greed that sent them out of the city. But like 2 MLS teams just sounds nuts. I think even handling like the Wave, because like even the Wave, they said when their ownership changed that they wanted to build a potential stadium solution, or like at least training facility solution as well, like something more permanent, and that. We still haven't really heard anything from the new ownership or anything moving forward. So I think that might be more likely, or they kind of work together in building something. But
I like that angle, because you're saying it's like, okay, we're not first in line at Snapdragon, and you know what? Maybe this will help us make more inroads with the southern section of the county. Obviously, they have some pretty strong foundation there with the fan base, and then the north end of the county. That's interesting.
I mean, let's real for SDFC. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, there's 20 years of Snapdragon Stadium. That's the contract that San Diego FC.
It's a crazy exit clause too, right? Like hundreds of millions of dollars.
Hundreds of millions. Like it's highway robbery what San Diego State did.
I'm sorry, but if this were to happen, like this would be what, in 5 years?
Well, no, because this is phase 2. If you look at that report, right? Like the first report is like, hey, let's just propose this. Let's bid for this land and see if we can get it. Phase 1 is that polo and tennis facility. But then phase 2 of that would be a stadium. And that it takes about 3 to 4 years to get finalized, or just from the moment you have the architect go and just kind of survey all the just environmental impacts and whatnot. Like
maybe 6 years, and they announce, like there's a new MLS San Diego team joining. Who do they sign? Santi Jimenez, a 31-year-old Santi Jimenez.
So that's what you're telling me. In 10 years, Cesar, if you're asking me this question, I can see that, because again, if you look at the success of Xolos, right, and what they were able to do in the region, 10 years in, I still remember their 10-year anniversary, right? They still haven't gotten rid of the X for Xolos on the kits, obviously for X for Xolos, but but it's just very recent what they were able to do, and forever, I don't think it was a question. Was like, well, San Diego can sustain that because Tijuana can sustain it. And if you ask me now, can a second Liga MX team come up like in Rosarito, in like Ensenada on the cusp? Like, I don't know if that would be able to materialize. So I'm not sure. Like here in the U.S., there's still a lot of strides to be had for soccer in general. Also, who's gonna cover the second soccer team?
Oh, that'll be a new pod. I'm announcing now. It's called SanDiego.Soccer, starring me.
All yours. But by this point, the deed of the keys are going to be to Abe. Like he's going to do what he wants. Like just run it. Just throw away the keys. Got it, Abe. Awesome.
Keys are gone.
What if they announce that the new stadium will then have an ice cream machine in the press box, though?
Oh man, that'd be great.
Then I will be knocking on doors. Hey, have you heard the good word of insert developer here? Yeah, but the fact that that's even something that's legitimately a question that can be had, like, hey, can San Diego have another stadium? And
I think I got their name already now. They're going to be the Chula Vista Chivas USA.
2.0 again.
2.0.
Bring him back from the dead.
Bring back Chivas.
Chula Vista Xolos USA.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Xolos did try to do some Xolos USA. I think they had some partnerships with some lower league
some
teams.
Like murals in San Diego too. I think that just I randomly drove by one time. I was like, "Is that the dog?" Like it was the big old just standing. I was like, "What the heck?" It completely surprised me.
The Chula Chivas FC.
Chula Chivas.
Jesus. I mean, go for it, guys. Like let's.
I'd be a fan.
Follow them.
I'd be a fan of that.
That'd be interesting, actually. Again, and there was another project too that was supposed to happen in East Chula Vista, and that was supposed to be a land with a stadium, built more USL kind of capacity friendly, 15,000 a modular stadium, a la, I guess, Phoenix Rising sort of thing, and that kind of now fell through the city. So, stadium talk in the San Diego County is always. Yeah, I know, Abe.
Where's Midway Rising? I thought that was gonna be a thing already. Now there's like drama with the group that built Snapdragon Stadium too. Like their main developers getting like indicted by the federal government. Like what is happening? We're talking about a second MLS team. That's crazy.
I can't wait for the USL League 2 team to kick off in Chula Vista 14 years from now.
City SC and USL too.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that, Abe. It's just the linkage of like investors, and funny how the Midway project was going to be an investor, but then out of nowhere, that investor got a Snapdragon deal, and the indictment and the bribery of having done this exact same thing elsewhere in the country, and now now it's kind of like, well, if you did that over there, what happened here? Like, look, sometimes I'm glad I don't have that much money. I'm just like,
talk about it.
I'd be enjoying it very differently. I think. Cesar,
I don't know if you're about to be like, before we let him go. I'm just curious. I mean, we didn't do it in our SanDiego FC segment, but I don't know if you're aware, we are in a little bit of a competition between Abe, Tony, and myself about predictions this season for SanDiego FC. the loser at the end of the season has to walk from the studio to Snapdragon Stadium, and I'm currently in dead last.
Damn
4
right you
points
are.
behind Tony. I'm curious if you have a celebrity shot prediction that you would be willing to throw my way for this upcoming match against Toronto on Wednesday.
I'm the perfect person to ask because I've seen one full SDFC game over the last.
He's seen them all, and he's still in the shitter. So.
I think what immediately comes to mind, actually, is that playing here in front of the home crowd, playing here with an Anders Dreyer who genuinely. I mean, yeah, haven't watched every single minute of SDFC. I'm going to be, diving back into that soon. But like, one thing that I've been consistently looking at whenever I'm catching up highlights, whenever I'm catching like up stats on my phone, is just how consistent Anders Dreyer has been, and how it's funny to say. I can actually just say it out loud. Just like he is, up there competing with Lionel Messi himself when it comes to a legitimate conversation for the MLS MVP. Possibly even above him. Yeah, you know what? Let's say above him. I don't even think that's not even a hot take. That's weird. I think he has more goal contributions. I'll have to double check. But I think when you consider the form that he's in, I think that we're going to be probably seeing another. I'll say you've been looking at the scores and they've been allowing a surprising amount of goals. Let's say 3-2 win for SDFC. And they have Luca de la Torre back. Yepe has been doing Yepe stuff. That's another guy that always stands out to me when I'm diving into stats and whatnot. Just leads the league in touches and recoveries of the ball. I think you guys might have mentioned Bombino. Bombino's looked pretty good. I like the ceiling on Oscar Verhoeven. Like I think he looks like I think he's gonna become a really special player down the line. But yeah, no, I think it's gonna be. I still have some questions what's happening there defensively. I don't know what's going on there with the goalkeeper situation. It seemed like CJ had a couple bad performances, and they brought in Cisniega, but Cisniega had a good performance, at least from what I saw. But I'm gonna go with the 3-2 win for SDFC.
I'm gonna ride with that. Abe, Tony, you guys cool with me taking that celebrity shot?
It'd be kind of funny if I said no. No, go for it. I mean,
you need all the help you can get.
Yeah,
I really do. I really do.
Cesar, would you? I mean, open invite to walk with whoever loses, because they have to do it with the soccer ball at their feet.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm busy that day. I don't know what day that is. I have no idea.
I can reschedule.
No.
I'll just be I'll be riding a bike. I'll just be following you.
Because because there still might be San Diego FC games happening if you lose. I think we're gonna make you walk to one of the games. Like you have to go cover the game after walking.
Yeah,
I think that would be more fun.
I'd be coming back from my trip in Japan, and Abe, as you know, you were there and you walked a lot. I think I'd be in a walking mood.
Yeah, you'll be ready. Yeah.
Maybe it'll be a Forrest Gump like situation where people join you. Maybe it'll be other like fans of the pod.
That's what I was thinking.
Or just like
that was my vision of it. Like a bar crawl, like almost like, hey, checkpoint, like meet me here.
If I chug a beer on the way there, like then I get like a mile in the car next to you, like give me a ride a mile. Every beer you chug,
you get to chug beers and take time off.
What?
Like that's
good. Fine, but there's a 50-50 chance that I'm going to drive backwards and then drop you off, and now you got to do another 3 extra miles. Oh man. Entonces cero, SDFC all around, win all around.
I got 2-1 San Diego FC. Toronto is a team that's not losing by a lot of goals. They're kind of like in every game that they just lack like a solid striker. So I predict 2-1 San Diego. They're still definitely gonna win though. Toronto's not a great team.
Okay. I say it'll be 2-0 clean sheet for Cisniega.
You think Cisniega gets to start again? It's interesting.
I think so, just because again, just kind of that midweek game, Cisniega did very well. The situation with CJ was just that contact that he had in the nose area, and just kind of what that kind of means is better safe than sorry. Again, Leagues Cup is coming in, so you kind of need to have players with reps available for this. Again, it's very true, right? Like there's teams that have the tournament squad, and the league squad, and the tournament goalkeeper, and the goalkeeper for the league. And if that's the situation, then yeah. And again, I prefer Cisniega, as he's like the prototypical Osvaldo Sanchez type Mexican 2.0 version of a goalkeeper. He's secure, a shot stopper, not as good with his legs, obviously, as CJ. But I trust him more to stop a goal than I would CJ. That's my personal preference. Just aesthetically, as a goalkeeper, I like him more.
League's Cup goes straight to penalties too, right? They don't have extra time.
Yeah, if the rules are still the same thing as they are last year, then yeah, they don't, because that was part of what they were trying to hype up too. It was just like, there's no draws. It goes straight to penalties, and you get one more point. So I feel like I'm like 99% sure you still get an additional point, which I thought was gimmicky and dumb until I was pretty happy about that. I was like, hell yeah, let's go. Or wins this penalty shootout, gets this extra point, which I'm sure was very confusing to players. So yes, that is something to be keeping an eye on when it comes to pure shot stoppers in Leagues Cup.
I like this prediction. Who starts at the 9? For San Diego FC.
Tomas Angel.
Interesting. Okay.
Has he improved at any point? Like in the last few weeks, he's been a little underwhelming to me.
Yeah.
But
He's improved, but he's sticking out like a sore thumb for sure. Like he's definitely sticking out. Where it's like, I think I was talking to the guys earlier about, like, if you see his runs, there's just not a confidence. Ese pique no está, where he goes into that empty space and makes runs and creates the space. He's almost marking himself and going behind a Chucky dribbling in front and trying to following their pathway. Just kind of taking their wind tunnel and just kind of hiding and being their shadow and essentially marking himself in these situations. Right. Where it's like, no, and go ahead and get open. Milan makes the run or just receives the pass and gets out of the way in general, right? Like you saw the goal for Honest Dreyer, where essentially he steps up and takes the ball from Tomas Angel, and in his position, in the center position, you know, fortunately for SDFC, it's a goal, but it's just, he's not playing like he quote unquote deserves the number 9 on his back. Yeah, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, I can see them even rotating Valakari back up there, or even Dreyer starting down the middle, and then you have Chucky and
Alex Martin
on the side. So I can see them doing something like that, especially if Mikey's gonna ride on that Iloski bench until the end of the loan. But I mean, maybe they worked out something and he does start.
I wish I could be at training tomorrow. Abe, are you at training
Tomorrow?
Yeah.
I do not believe I'll be able to make training tomorrow.
Caesar,
I've yet to reporting live for SanDiego.Futbol. No, it's actually, honestly, actually, I've been to the facility a couple times. I think a couple times, but like I've yet to actually go there for like a proper training, because I always have just work meetings on like Tuesdays and Thursdays. So it's like, and it's funny because when I stopped having those meetings and I was like traveling for the Gold Cup, so I've yet to actually like go to a proper training just yet. At some point this season, I don't know when my first training will be, but
it's starting
at the very least, you'll be seeing me once again back at the press box at the game on Wednesday. So I'll be there Wednesday night.
I love that. Heck yeah, always good to see you out there. I know you also go incognito sometimes, just enjoy soccer and just get a rogue picture of like, hey, here you guys.
I like to sometimes when I just go as a fan and just like sit in the stands, I like to like secretly take photos of you guys, and it's quite funny.
Wouldn't be the only one. Jeremy here too also loves to do that and post us. And, I love it. Keep it going. If you see us, we're always in the front row for SDFC games and Wave games. So does Iloski go in if they're losing? I mean, yes. I mean, you have to. Just like, again, that's just not a smart thing to do in terms of like going and winning the game. Like, you have Iloski there, deploy him, break in case of emergency.
Eastern Conference team though doesn't matter as much.
Very true, but then again, like, do you really want to keep? I mean, maybe you don't care, and you're going to stick with like, well, I'm going to care for the players that are going to be here whole season, but just that locker room aspect, like now you kind of have some sort of like negativity in the locker room, just like you have somebody who's not as happy as they can be,
And
you're
we've seen the
just
damage that can cause
putting-
in previous teams.
yeah.
We've seen it, right? For many big clubs where there's that negativity in the locker room and it just kind of pours the rainfall and it just goes downwards after that. So I think they do need to be careful with how they manage next 2 weeks with Milan Iloski, at least.
I've always said that soccer would be a lot easier at the club or national team level if it was literally just choosing the best 11 players possible, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that goes in behind the scenes. There's a lot of players that literally, I mean, it's part of the name, right? It's not just a coach. There are people who are managers, right? It's managing these professional athletes who want to, every single one that wants to be in that starting level. So it's like, it would be such an easy, and it's just so much easier for us to go on, I was gonna say FIFA, EA Sports FC, and just be like, boom, 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 this guy, that guy, that guy, that guy. That's just not how it works. And it is curious how they're going to manage that through the rest of July.
No, it's a interesting kind of like dynamic going on, and I mean, more questions are going to be had if Milan Iloski isn't starting. I think, regardless of him getting time starting, it's going to be a question, and we'll see if Mikey Varas is still planning to have him post January, post July. Like, very interesting. Just them putting the squeeze.
It's just 2 weeks, man. It's
Just 2 weeks.
4 straight home games.
Just 2 weeks, and you can get yourself a discounted Milan Iloski jersey at 18 threads.
Yeah,
you know, from $100 and whatever dollars to $100 and less whatever dollars. Incredible. Have you just soccer attire and prices are just ridiculous. It's
people buy
Always
it.
buy the fake ones. I don't think
knockoffs.
I've ever owned a real jersey.
Check out Jersey Local.
okay. Just plugs.
just get the knockoffs. It's just like
Hey,
I'm sure there's some SDFC knockoffs somewhere.
Yeah, don't check out Soapy Joe's. I'm pissed at him.
Go to the knockoff Soapy Joe's?
No, go anywhere but Soapy Joe's. Just
Why? What happened?
What did
they
do?
knocked out my window and they shattered it, my mirror.
Oh,
no.
Clearly didn't watch Two Balls in the Mic last week
I
because I
didn't.
was here
I
solo.
You know, I
Essentially-
have friends that got married at a Soapy Joe's.
What the fuck?
What?
They give you free Soapy Joe's for life.
Was it Soapy Joe himself? I hope it was Soapy Joe himself.
my God.
Why else would you be there?
The little car with the little priest necklace. Oh my god! In the special limited edition.
They get a card that's golden and it's Soapy Joe's for life.
Oh my god! Well, I'm sorry that they have it for life because these jerk offs, essentially. So my truck is Truckosaurus Rex, and so the thing that washes, you have to go in and it pushes your windows in sometimes, right? And in doing that, it popped off my cap from the back. It went underneath my truck and I crushed it. And it's like a flat pancake, right? So it's the back cover of the side view mirror. And so I'm just I get off. I'm like, hey guys, this and what can we do? Report insurance, sure. They get back to me, and Soapy Joe himself is like, hey, we can't do anything. You're because it's clearly stated that most vehicles now have a feature that automatically put windows in by themselves. And it's required to have the windows in before you go into the tunnel, which again, if you go to Soapy Joe's, this is what they're telling you. So be careful. They have to be put in. So I'm just like, well, my car doesn't have that. So what you're telling me is from the time I go beep and the thing rises and I have to go into your tunnel, because I don't have the automatic feature, I have to get off my car in an unsafe manner, put the windows in, and then you are requiring me to illegally operate my vehicle because the windows are in such a position that it is a crime to drive in the state of California that way, even on private property, into your tunnel for me to get my service that I am paying for you to do and then destroy my subsequent thing. The lady had no answer for that.
Soapy Joe said it. Yes.
Soapy Joe, yeah. And they said, deal with your insurance. Mine. And I told the lady, have you ever heard this? And honestly, they were like, honestly, we've never heard about it. That's a really good point. I'm like, yeah, I know it is, but
I love the fact that I'm just realizing right now that like, and I probably should have brought it up, like 0 seconds about Chucky Lozano, but like solid 2 minutes there on Soapy Joe's.
100%.
Chucky Lozano, so be dose.
Sorry.
Chucky Lozano has never given me a free car wash.
They're not giving car wash anymore. Now they're giving $5 car washes. It's a discount.
And you can't even use them back to back or anything like that.
Sorry to hear that. That does seem pretty crap.
Chucky Lozano, it's working, right? Like he's enjoying it. Like the Chucky Lozano project, it's printing money. It's
nowhere near the Vela level, right?
I don't think so.
No, I mean, I've always disliked that. It's just what Vela was doing was at an entirely different level. I think people just saw, hey, Mexican winger signing for an expansion team. They're different players. They have different mentalities. They
look better.
They're. I would say that Carlos Vela, Chucky Lozano is a very good player. Carlos Vela is a generational player, genuinely a generational player. I think that Chucky Lozano wasn't a, like when Carlos Vela, like at one point he was like voted for one of the best forwards in La Liga while he was with Real Sociedad, and I like Chucky. I think he's a fantastic player. He's a fantastic MLS player. He's a star for SDFC, he's a Mexican national team star who didn't play in the last Gold Cup because of injury issues, but. Oh, that's a different conversation though. Just because, I think Carlos Vela was just on a different level entirely, right there.
Yeah, he was. I agree there.
Yeah,
I like it. I mean, I can talk to you forever on here. Like I legitimately can. Like it's something that I thoroughly enjoy, Cesar, and again, just always kind of giving us the time of day, time of night, to discuss all sorts of manner. Just to kind of wrap it up, your experience, you were featured as SanDiego.Futbol's Grade of the Week.
That should be on your bio, by the way.
It is. Yes, I can do that. local person. Grade of the Week.
SanDiego.Futbol Grade of the Week.
I mean, how do you feel about no? Well, like, is that an assignment where you get asked to go ahead and enjoy Fútbol Americas and just the desk and just talk, with your boss? Like, I don't know, what's the mechanic there?
It was about time. Am I right? No, I'm just kidding. No, honestly, like, no, it was cool because like we I want to say it was, how long ago was that? Just because time is. I know everybody always makes jokes like, what day is it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like what day is it? What time? Like honestly, everything's been a blur just over the last like 5 or 6 weeks. Just because like before the Gold Cup, a number of us from ESPN, we went to the ESPN headquarters. Just for mostly it was like a lot of meetings and a lot of opportunities to meet with people face to face, and also to cover a US game that was happening nearby. And as part of that process, the bosses were like, "Hey, like you and the rest are like a handful of other people there. Like, since you're in town, like, just be on the show. Talk some SDFC. Talk some Chucky Lozano. Yeah, speaking of Chucky Lozano, I was talking Chucky Lozano on that show. We were talking about the injury for Chucky Lozano, and I will reiterate what I said then, which is what I'll say now, which is just I think he's a fantastic player, but also, is he a start of a Mexican national team? No, I wouldn't say so. And I think that like if he continues to play at this level that he is with SDFC this season, he is going to be in the conversation. I don't know if he's a starter for all three, but as for the experience itself, it was cool. It was great. It was cool hanging out, like and seeing the actual studio. It was funny. So like you would think with a studio like that, you would think that it's like this massive, enormous room and whatnot, but actually it was kind of a cramped spot. Like it's kind of like this, like, kind of got lost on the way over and whatnot. But no, it was a fantastic experience. A lot of my close friends were making fun of me for wearing a denim jacket on my TV debut.
And that's your response. Like, literally your response to them. Like, look at me caring.
You know what? I decided I was trying to figure out what to wear, and I was thinking, do I do the classic kind of blazer look? And I decided that's not who I am.
Damn
and
right.
It felt, honestly, it was just a comfort thing. I was like, I feel comfortable Like if I was going out on a Friday or Saturday with the wife, I would probably look like that. I felt comfortable doing that. The producers of the show seemed to really like it for whatever reason, even despite my friends making fun of me. But yeah, it was cool. It was cool. I guess yeah. My TV debut was pretty cool to be able to do that. Yeah.
If we saw you on a blazer on TV, you wouldn't have won Grid of the Week.
Yeah, no, we were
It was a denim jacket,
like,
man.
That's Cesar Hernandez. It's a different person.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm not. I don't know. Yeah, that's not who I am. I guess I'm a little too silly for that. Yeah.
Idon Collection saying inside sources SDFC hopefully hopeful of finding an agreement with Iloski, but negotiations not going well right now. That's welcome to the show, hour 2.
Thank you, Don Colección.
Gracias. What a name. But yeah, the Canadian tuxedo. But yeah, that's where that's at. Did you like it? Like that's a mechanic that you're into doing more. You feel comfortable, just in that space, get called in, and now you're just a regular on there.
I mean, of course. I mean, I think that like you guys recognize this. I think that like in order to survive in this scene, you have to learn to be, I guess the way that I write, I've always said that I'm kind of like a Swiss Army knife, where just like you drop me in Mexico and Guadalajara, I'll be fine. You drop me in St. Louis, did U.S. men's national team game, I'll be fine. And I think you have to do, the same stuff as a journalist. I think what I actually love more than anything else is writing my features that they'll take you 30 minutes to read, that I don't know who reads any of those and why they would take all the time to do that. I think I love those the most, that I do like once or twice per month. But I think what you have to do in order to survive in this industry is you have to be comfortable being behind a camera. You have to be comfortable podcasting. You have to be comfortable doing interviews. You have to be comfortable writing. I've always said like kind of like an octopus of sorts. You have to kind of like have like a hand in everything and be able to adapt and be able to do those kinds of things. So I like it. I enjoy it. I mean, what I love more than anything else is just interviewing a bunch of people behind the scenes, and writing my like big, long features and whatnot. But obviously it's also fun to be behind the camera, and that's what the family cares about. That's for sure. They were never that excited about any of my articles that I've written.
It's all good. Your cats care, man. That's literally what's bringing in or not bacon, whatever it is. You people. There's a commercial you people. There's a
you people.
Yeah, you people. There's a commercial that fooled me yesterday. I was actually really mad, and I was like, "Wow, that looks delicious, actually." And it was like this like fancy feast, whatever, but it looks like a flan.
It was just like.
Yeah, it was like a flan,
it's a pate.
and like it was like at the end like some gravy, but it looks like a flan. And I was passing by, I'm like, oh wow, what is that? That looks really good. And then I just see the cat walking up in the commercial, like meow 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 meow. I was like, oh. It's okay. You're working out, Don Colección. Welcome. Go watch back. We had a really good discussion about the Iloski thing. You people maybe do this. But yeah, Cesar, it's a pleasure. I think we'll close it out with you here. We'll let everybody kind of rest up. Where can people find you? And just I know people are interested in what you do because you are great at what you do. Where's a good spot to essentially just stalk you virtually?
Yeah. Well, I'm definitely I'm on social media. Then you find me on Instagram. It's just Cesar.Futbol. I guess it's more of like personal stuff there. I don't really talk too much about soccer stuff on there. I'll just post the occasional stadium and whatnot. But on Twitter, if you're still there, I will occasionally post what I deem to be big news or that I've written or big stories that I've written. Outside of that, I don't really use it too much. Outside of that, like for me, I'm just trying to be on Blue Sky more than anything else these days. I don't have the same following that I used to have, but it's okay. I'll just occasionally post occasional things that I think outside of just like my big features. I mean, I think literally the last thing I talked about was my halftime thoughts at St. Louis City versus Portland. My God, was the ice cream machine in the press box awesome. Yes, that shows you how I'm not just posting my stories over there on Blue Sky, and I kind of like to send out my occasional thoughts. But yeah, yeah, thanks to everybody who's like reading my stuff, and thank you guys. Obviously, this is like honestly, I could like do this for another hour, but like you guys, like I don't want to hold you guys for too long, and it's also finish an episode on something. It's already 10:30, but like seriously, thank you guys. Keep up the awesome work. It's incredible what you guys are doing, and you guys are doing it like week in and week out. I mean, honestly, I was literally just telling my wife, I was just like, we were talking about. She's like, "Oh, what's the podcast you're doing later?" I was like, "Oh, it's the SanDiego.Futbol guys." And like I was like, "Yeah, they're like they do it every single week, and Tony is doing all the other stuff on the side, and like Abe is out there like at trainings, and like Chiva's out there. Like it's like it's incredibly impressive to see what you guys are doing, and I think that it's a testament to, I don't know, like you guys are genuinely like, I mean, like I guess I didn't listen to the last episode. It was I've been a little busy at work, but like honestly, when I'm trying to catch up to what's happening on the San Diego soccer scene, the first thing comes to mind is like, all right, when's the next episode? You know, of like Two Balls and a Mic. When's the next episode of everything? Like, honestly, I'm being very serious about that. Like, when I want to catch up on things, it is you guys, and I'm being 100% serious about that. So keep on keeping on, and hopefully, I assume the fans recognize that as well. I assume the fans realize just how important of you are to the soccer community, right? Because if it wasn't you guys doing this stuff, like who would have? Yes, you see other like podcasts coming up. Yes, you see what SDFC are doing, but what SDFC, obviously, that's not an independent podcast. It's just what you guys cover and the depth that you cover with, and not only that, but just like the genuine curiosity and like the genuine like interest, and like there's a lot of, I'll use the word integrity. There's a lot of integrity with like how you guys tackle all this stuff. So please like keep going. At least for the sake of me being able to catch up on Wave and SDFC, because if it wasn't you guys, I'd be having a hard time, especially when I'm so busy with all my work stuff and trying to catch up on all these things. So yeah, guys, keep killing it. Keep doing a great job.
The kindest words, Cesar. I really
Thank
appreciate
you so
you.
much.
Abe does a lot too. Abe, really quick, catch us up on that friendly, if anything, or you were gonna say, just literally go for it.
Oh, the San Diego Wave friendly.
Yeah, 1-1.
Jordan Fusco had some interesting moments. She's
Great.
playing. She's Mackenzie Robbie's still a good winger. Nia Harrison didn't look great, but
You want the midgets? Here you go.
Didi
Keep going.
Hericic dropped a free kick that probably should have been saved, but she's backup goalkeeper for a reason, so you can't get too crazy. Yeah.
Shout out
Torero's
Donald
cool.
Ballard.
Food's still good at Torero Stadium. I'll say that.
Flavors of East Africa.
Yes, very delicious.
Guys, I now live 2 blocks away from Flavors of East Africa, and it is amazing. Sorry, but
I'm gonna go try that. I can't just like wait for every Torero Stadium game to eat that food. I need more.
Oh, cliff notes for all things soccer in San Diego. Oh,
yeah, seriously,
that's so nice. Shout out Donnie DuckTales for the images, and shout out for Stony FC. I forgot his new handle, but Stony FC for some Chicago Fire MLS pictures. It's happening. It's an open source of soccer here for SanDiego.Futbol, and I think that's the great thing about it. So again, thank you, Cesar, for everything, and thank you everybody who was listening. It's really cool. Been a wild thing. Catch everything soccer in San Diego.
Thanks.
We'll be covering Wednesday, Toronto at Snapdragon Stadium, San Diego FC. We're going to go ahead and be there. Hopefully have a post-match with the Chromaniacs. Chromaniacs is a thing now. It's a separate podcast, but under the same SanDiego.Futbol family. Extended Cinematic Universe with Craig Elston and Alex Pena, and Tony Sanchez, or Chiva, Abraham, and the great, powerful Cesar Hernandez, SanDiego.Futbol. See you guys next time. I didn't know how to stop.